Oh no. Most things go down because they're supposed to be the smell.
Okay, I was gonna set up my timing a little more interestingly, but we're setting up for something. So I'm like, hold on, wait, I gotta make the mics hot.
Ready? I fight. All right, I guess we're just.
So we're in it. We're in the zone.
We're doing our sets.
Oh, that is. No one should drink that.
We're doing our sets.
I'm glad we've hit that point right at the start of the show. Because that part wasn't on Mike. Do you want to tell the people at home what you just drank?
I drank a. I'm not gonna say the brand. It doesn't deserve it. It's an orange dreamsicle hard cider.
Yeah,
That
no, I did not.
sounds like it would be bad or surprisingly decent. No in between.
All right.
That is not fit for human consumption, I would say.
Yeah. No, honestly, I wasn't thinking about it. I was busy setting up for the audio gag I used to intro the stream. But I've watched some of the YouTube channel How to Drink. He's done a whole, video on like hard ciders and stuff. I probably should have expected that from most flavors that are not lemonade. Hell, even some of the lemonades, at least according to him. Check him out.
Yeah,
Greg, How to Drink.
I do not mind like spiked lemonades and the like. They're usually pretty solid.
But the thing the way we can tie this into our archetype today, VS Vanquish Soul, which I always want to call Versus Soul, but that's not what it's actually called.
Yeah, I looked up Versus Soul and ended up. I'm like, where is everything? I'm like, where are they?
No, it's Vanquish Soul, but they use the abbreviation VS. Funnily enough, so yeah. But is that much like playing Melty Blood, I'm sure you can play Vanquish Soul in a bathroom, or you've made some gin in the tub. You can play it in your backyard with your spiked lemonade. You can play Vanquish Soul anywhere, actually.
Look, who needs gin and tonic when you got gin and tub?
I should double check where that is. I'm pretty sure that's a Prohibition joke about fermenting gin in your bathtub, but
oh, almost assuredly.
Obviously, as you can expect, chat, it would not be very high quality. But yeah, so we're going to talk about Vanquish Soul today, VS, our final archetype from Wild Survivors. This is going to be a very funny time because obviously this archetype is fighting game themed. The Wikipedia has a lot of assumptions about what fighting games it's based on.
I would say that most of them, the Wikipedia is less about the references and more about, hey, this guy is your grappler, and we're just gonna name off like a few grappler characters.
Yeah.
I think of Soul Calibur and Skullgirls, honestly. I think of aesthetic and then premise.
So hey, also welcome to the stream where I'm probably gonna get.
There's also a lot of Tokusatsu style fighting games and shit like that.
There's a lot of fighting games.
There's a lot of Japanese fighting games. There's so many.
I mean, I would argue there are infinitely more Japanese fighting games than Western ones because we've just got Mortal Kombat now these days.
And
indies as usual.
No. Besides Mortal Kombat and Skullgirls, it's why am I forgetting? It's where the word combo breaker comes from. Killer Instinct.
Well, Killer Instinct has been dead.
Yeah, I'm about to say when was the last?
It's still, okay.
Okay. Chat, welcome to. We're gonna have to stop the conversation a lot to talk about the fighting game community. I should say off the top, I understand the fighting game community. If they find a game that fights good, they will not let it go. I understand there are purists to this day who are still playing Smash Brothers Melee.
The KI servers are still being up though.
It's still up.
The game is not. I assume there are not. And hey, somebody feel free to fact check me on this. But I feel like there are not active updates to the game. They are not adding new characters. They have not changed any of their mechanics in a while.
I think it
is
update
so
like
not
last year,
updated, Axe, that a few years ago, Xbox forced a Killer Instinct tournament to be canceled because they did not want to think people. They did not think they were drumming up hype.
I thought they did do update over the last 2 years, actually.
For a sequel.
Oddly enough.
Would not be expected. The latest news listed on Wikipedia, anyway, is that Killer Instinct, a game from 2013, now over 10 years old, was that They added a Windows 10 version to Steam in 2017. I do not know if there are further Steam ones. However, you can be reasonably certain this franchise is unfortunately fucking dead because at no point has Xbox tried to dig themselves out of their hole by announcing a new one.
Yeah, like the Killer Instinct game was incredibly successful, even down to the point that people who are familiar with the fighting game community will know that a large YouTuber, almost single-handedly grassroots that game into popularity, just because he loved it so much. He wanted it to do well.
It's a so like I don't think we can count Killer Instinct as a major franchise. Rare is banished to the hell of making Sea of Thieves forever, which to be fair, they're good at.
I'll say one fact though. Mick Gordon, how he became eventually the Doom guy, the Doom OSG guy, up until he got so things happened. He did Killer Instinct.
Yes, I believe I have heard that, so that's good for you. Fighting games known for their good music. Chat, I would have given you some selections from some more specific fighting games. Right now, I have a very generic chiptune montage in the back. Unfortunately, the only YouTube video that was not in playlist form, where you might get odd interruptions or skipped videos or just deal with weird sequencing, was specifically a collection of 2 hours of Guilty Gear's finest vocal tracks. I am weary about using vocals in YouTube because that is usually the part that YouTube doesn't like. They understand medleys, but it's if there's a singer, a specific singing artist who has sung this song, that usually makes the YouTube copyright system go boop boop, target acquired. We found him. We got him. And that's when they go all Zero Dark 30 on my ass. Anyway, so yes, I was going to say earlier, this is going to be the part where you understand how much Omega doesn't know about fighting games, which is funny because I've played a few fighting game franchises in my time. Unfortunately, none of the ones that are very popular right now. I actually, back in the day, was a pretty decently big Soul Calibur guy, up through about 4. Played some decent Soul Calibur with my friends, had some great side modes. Somewhere in that generation of games, though, kind of fell off, and Soul Calibur itself hasn't been heard from in a while, though the character creator, obviously, for 6 was very funny.
The last Soul Calibur game was 5 years ago, roundabout, I think.
Oh, it might be a little bit more than that, but yeah, it's been a while. I've played a little of classical games on older machines. I'm pretty sure between me and my neighborhood friends, we had the old SNES cart of Mortal Kombat somewhere. We never could do the fatalities. And I've played a few specific anime fighters. Played some of the 3D Dragon Ball Z Arena fighters. I've played both of the P4 Ultimax games, P4 Arena games and Ultimax, I should say. So I got a little association. Unfortunately, I've never been huge in the franchises most people assume. I mean, I've played Super Smash, but who hasn't?
Oh, hey. So I was roundabout right. Soul Calibur 6 was 6 years ago. Also, it's apparently 90% off right now on Steam. Hey guys, if you want a Soul Calibur game, it's $6.
Yeah.
Which one?
6.
Soul Calibur 6.
That's not bad.
It's $6, guys. It's 90% off.
It's pretty good.
I'll think about it.
But yeah, so I know a little bit fighting games. I've never been claimed to be plugged into the FGC, one of the few communities so universally understood that you can say them as an acronym.
Moment as Samurai Shodown's also 87% off.
Are we doing a little fighting game sale? When's Evo?
Combo Breaker just happened last week.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we're coming off a big event. All right.
Yeah, that could probably be why. Yeah.
But yeah, so we will make a few allusions and stuff. I will say having seen, some of the games I guess you'd expect, I've seen some footage or seen people talk about, Arc Systems put out works. I do tend to agree that I think the aesthetic of the characters in VS does lean a little bit towards Arc's output. That's why, by the way, I was slightly flabbergasted when Axe said earlier he thinks the aesthetics are Soul Calibur. I'm like, what, huh? First of all, way too many of these people are not humans.
Yeah, Soul Calibur is... While it does have its...
Well, I wasn't thinking art style, but...
It has its goofy shit, but it's still very much like more of a grounded art style, I would say.
And like, the thing I associate with Soul Calibur especially is, while there are occasionally barehanded fighters, is it's a weapon fighting game. Definitely, I don't think any of the major characters in this are not meant to be doing barehanded with some extras. Like, Raisin has like some big boosties on his arms, but I'm pretty sure he's punching and kicking.
I would say the only one is Xiaolong, who has like a 3-notch spear or something. But aside from that, like most of them are big fisticuffs.
Nobody has nunchucks.
Yeah.
And me just alluding to Maxi probably made some people shiver in the audience at home. They feel terror. We could be talking about Voldo. You want to see some backwards Qatar crab walk?
Yeah, I was gonna say Voldo and Yoshimitsu are probably like the outliers in Soul Calibur Freakazoid art style.
Oh, they are so weird. Yeah, and I mean they've had funny cameo characters like fucking you can play Darth Vader in Soul Calibur 4. It's very funny.
You could play 2B in Soul Calibur 6.
Yeah. And Soul Calibur 2 was like the ultimate weird guest fighter, shit.
It was Link, wasn't it?
If you were playing on GameCube, yes, Link was the guest fighter. If you were on Xbox, I believe it was Spawn. And was it Heihachi for PS2?
That sounds right.
Yeah. I say that not because I didn't play a shitload of Soul Calibur 2, but on Soul Calibur 2, figuring out who was the guest character for the PlayStation version is tougher. Because, quite frankly, Heihachi kind of fits in the art style. He's just a guy. Link is fucking
he's just
Link.
a guy who's gonna spin and punch you.
But yeah, so like, I would definitely say I think the aesthetics and even the suggested mechanics lean a little bit more towards the arc style. Obviously, we've had all our various characters. I feel like it's heavily implied from the way the mechanics work that this is meant to be a party fighter. Like you select assists and can even swap characters, much like Marvel vs. Capcom.
You're arena fighter of sorts.
Yeah.
Like.
And obviously, they have a couple of signature attacks. So there are, supers or some other sort of, special attack involved. I will say that just by the way like the spell and trap cards are organized, the game itself doesn't really hint whether or not it's like, is there like a meter-based resource, or is it just, hey, if you know how to do fucking quarter circles, you can, do a Hadoken kind of stuff. Secret combos. Do you know the button inputs to do Sub-Zero throws ice at you, So
do you know how to Raging Demon somebody?
Yeah, no suggestion on exactly how that works. Just, we've got a couple of the signature attacks as spell traps. The only other thing I think to bring up is that I do actually agree that they mentioned specifically that I think Caesar Valius looks a lot like the character the wiki names is like a major antagonist in BlazBlue. He's got like his super evil man mode, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, that looks a lot like Caesar Valius. That is probably a direct inspiration there.
Oh, Valius, let me check.
Yeah, Valius looks a lot like Susano from the BlazBlue.
Oh yeah, I don't even look that guy up. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, So mechanically, Vanquish Soul is pretty interesting. It's a recent enough deck that tracking down it's recent enough that tracking down on the old Yu-Gi-Oh! Top decks is not really viable. Like, it missed the window when that site was updated. But also, it's old enough that it's hard to, go in the backlog of the tank on, YGO Pro deck to double-check. Because, it's literally about a year old, and I don't know if their stats are as easily navigable. But you can search for VS decks. Vanquish Soul is really interesting because in the OCG, this deck was good.
I
was
definitely, like,
reasonably good pre-Snake Eyes.
Vanquish Soul is one of those quirky decks, I would say. Like
Yeah.
it hits a very yeah. A few days ago, it apparently won a 100. I guess it's a Challenger Cup, but it says it got first place in like a 100-man tourney over in Taiwan just a few days ago.
Yeah, I think that makes sense with the releases over there. So yeah, like it's a deck that is ostensibly good. Mechanically, there's good stuff here. Unfortunately, in the TCG, it did not really take off the same way. Some of that, I think, may be related to their mechanics. So the Vanquish Souls are all a bunch of different types, but they are primarily based around 3 archetypes, Fire, Dark, and Earth, and their primary effects are triggered by revealing cards of the appropriate attribute in hand. What is a card that is an Earth that may be in your hand that you can play in the OCG and not the TCG? Chat, do you have any answers?
And it's a combo piece for...
Obviously, it's Flying Sea.
I'm trying to... Wait, what's the name of the bug? What's the name of, like, the army of bugs again?
Confronting the Sea.
No, what? Omega.
Swarm of Scarabs? Like, how old school are we going?
No, the latest, like, the one you could actually search this insect with.
Oh, I don't fucking remember. The
Giant Hercules Beetle Fusion. That archetype.
Oh, Bee Troopers?
Yeah, it's a Bee Trooper combo piece.
Oh, you know what? You're so right. One more beside that I was glancing through, like tops. There are a lot of like top 16, top 4, Indonesia, Hong Kong, New South Wales State Championship, and the Trinidad and Tobago National Championship. So it's worldwide.
It's a deck that's out there, but it definitely feels like a deck that, you know, I'll say it. We are in a format where a tier 0 occurs in certain events. This is true. We just had YCS Indy this past weekend. I believe that was 7 Snake Eyes in top 8 and 1 Labyrinth player. Godspeed, you crazy diamond.
Interestingly enough, it could just be okay, never mind. Okay, it was a deck I was looking at. I was like, I don't see a Maxi in here, but there are Maxis in the OCG list, and we are just doing Ash, Ghost Bell, DD Crow, and D Shifter for our other attributes.
No, and that's the thing Vesper just mentioned. I was alluding to it. Obviously, like, playing Maxi helps, but also the fact that they picked Earth, Dark, and Fire as their primary attributes is just plays so well with so many really good hand traps. Fire, obviously, with Ash, you know.
This madman from the Trinidad and Tobago Championship is playing Kashtira, 3 Fenrir, and 1 Rise Heart. We are down bad for Earth and Fire.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing that I think people were playing was the Kashtira combo.
Fenrir makes sense.
But what I want to say is that, like, there is, I believe, a certain amount of economic elitism in North American Yu-Gi-Oh! Events where we assume that the format is tier 0 here, that it's tier 0 everywhere, but product distribution is hard, and there are places like South America, sometimes in Europe even, I know they've had problems like even getting events scheduled, let alone, you know, getting product, where the metas don't always shake out. And obviously, you know, Vesper has listed a lot of places that are a little more far-flung. You know, New South Wales is in Australia. You know, you've got some other parts in Southeast Asia, you know, Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. So, like,
I was there recently. It was pretty nice.
Yeah, Vanquish Soul is a good deck. We can say emphatically it's a deck that does its thing and can win games. Unfortunately, I think it is not a tier 0 level deck. So, when you get access to the really good shit, it is a deck that's kind of filtered out.
In a full-on YCS atmosphere, where you're going to be going up against people who are playing their $2,000 decks. No offense to Vanquish Soul, you're probably not going to survive against a full combo Snake Eyes board.
Yeah, no, unfortunately.
Which is not saying much about Vanquish Soul, because that's any deck that's not also Snake Eyes, I would say.
Well, yeah, we literally talked about it. Yeah, Indy did indeed have, you know, this run, and was clearly tier 0 Snake Eyes. While it seems like the hits to Barone and Savage, you know, made it less annoying. They're still making like format appos. Dissipator is still really annoying. I think they only hit Savage Dragon because if you banned Barone, people would just pivot back to the 8 strategy.
Yeah, this is
but
something
guess
we
what?
mentioned
People
when
play Cypher Lord Omega in that slot anyway now, which is arguably worse because now he's just a fucking hand rip on turn 1. Like,
yeah,
it's bad.
It's the unfortunate nature of the extra deck. As one of our many larger YouTuber cousins said, it's too homo. It's too homogenized.
It's a funny cutoff.
Yeah.
In the month of Pride, he says this.
Yeah. It's too homogenized to the point where I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with the extra deck being a toolbox. Like that's what it's been for a decade and a half at this point.
I mean, I would argue the fusion deck started as like a toolbox. Nobody actually played it for like bosses because fusion bosses sucked until probably like Future Fusion, like Cyber Dragon Turbo stuff.
Yeah, and Goat format, it was just Metamorphosis, and you just played one copy of anything you get your fucking hands on because there was no extra deck limit.
Yeah, so you just play whatever you could use as a toolkit, and Last Warrior lockouts, shit like that. So like Thousand Eyes Restrict has always been an extra deck toolbox monster. So like yeah,
and Promethean Princess is still a big ass problem, and they're not gonna touch it for a little bit because it's too
probably
new.
not.
Again,
I mean,
unfortunately, the aspect of the economic aspect of the card game, they're not going to hit a card they just released unless it is like Teledad levels of oh god, not like 0 dice can beat this. Where while Snake Eyes is tier 0, it's not an unbeatable deck. Its problem is just from the modern design where its choke point is such a red flag.
Yeah.
That you have to negate it. If you don't, you lose. If you do, you probably could win, is kind of how it goes.
And unfortunately, a lot of people are very pessimistic because, unfortunately, Konami has revealed that, indeed, the next OTS pack will have some of those reprints that you wanted in, like, Rarity Collection 2. Explicitly, they said it will have a high-rarity reprint of the Head of Exodia, Snake Eye Ash, Diviner, Fire King Island, etc.
Yeah.
Also, this is the first time they've ever printed the Infernoid token. That will have to suck if you open your OTS pack and get an Infernoid token and not a Snake Eye Ash. So, Ash is probably not being outright banned because they're making it an OTS reprint. I would not, if there was an E-ban list, which I do not know if there will or not. I don't actually know how many events we got scheduled. I do know that Master Duel's about to announce its like build up for its WCQ season. Like it's actually starting the World Championship qualifiers, but like it'll probably be Ash to 1.
If we have not gotten a if we have not yet gotten our emergency ban list, we're probably not gonna get one.
Yeah, no. Konami is like perfectly fine leaving this. I think we can be reasonably certain that when the time comes to send Snake Eyes to hell, the TCG will be very thorough. I remember watching one of the meme review clips between Peeps and Danny. This week's one was very funny because the memes were fucking terrible. Our Master Duel apparently has no low-quality post rule, so
right.
You get some real shitty posts. But there was one that, like, the Twitch chat were like, oh, it's a meme about how harsh the TCG ban list, and they're like, not true, a lie. Just because they're talking about the most recent ban list, which did not, like, actually really stop Snake Eyes, obviously. But also, hey, when was the last time you saw a pure Kashtira build top with Arise Heart dead?
Look, like, legitimately
buried in the ground.
We Got a Guido is still a running gag in some streams. Like, people act like the tier ban list did not happen in the TCG because we got one bad list for Snake Eyes.
They killed tier real bad.
I've
seen people, by the way, I'd love to see it. I would love to see the fire versus not the waters, even though they're darks. People are like, yo, we need to let tier back out the cage. Which I would recommend against because I do not want to see what a 60-card tier limit Snake Eyes looks like.
Yeah, like again, it's the same mantra people have. Like, if you bring Pot of Greed back to 1, it'll make all the weaker decks stronger. I'm like, Yeah, it'll make the strong deck strong.
But then, yeah, that means every asshole's gonna have one copy of Pot of Greed in his deck, and it's gonna suck ass when Snake Eye Bob draws it, and then he draws into Poplar.
He draws into Poplar Ash or some nonsense.
Yeah, and immediately activates Poplar, and you're dead. You couldn't do anything because you didn't want to Ash Blossom Pot of Greed. Also, it didn't matter because he had 4 more fucking cards in hand. Anyway, we're bitching about the TCG format. It's bad right now. I think I understand there is some merit in like Tier 0 formats. I think they're not all universally bad. Generally, I don't think the players like this Tier 0 format. Just because Snake Eye seems like it's very exhausting to play against.
Yeah, I would say if we're comparing Tier 0 formats, the tournament format, while it was reviled by many, the people playing it enjoyed it because it was, like, while it was just gambling, it was a very intricate mirror match. The Snake Eyes mirror match is, did you negate Poplar?
Yeah. But yeah, so it's a wild time. So we said a lot of extra stuff because we like to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Here, but all that to say that, like, Vanquish Soul's not bad. It's just, it hasn't gotten any of the extra consistency support that you would expect. I would argue they even haven't had their, like, proper second wave of support. Just, as usual, we mentioned him earlier, the guy with, like, a 3-section staff. They added Jiaolong and his, like, signature trap card later as, like, the usual, like, +1 or 2 cards. That gave the deck some extra teeth for sure, but they are not a deck that, like, has really solidified extra. And honestly, it's one of those decks that, again, may not get that extra spice because over in the OCG, this deck was on a tear. Like, it was a solid deck. I think some of the guys over there saw, like, semi-limits even. Like, put some time on the list.
I can check that. Well,
yeah, I'm wondering if Raisin may have gone to 2. That might just also be a Master Duel thing. Also, hey, by the way, VS was considered a top-tier Master Duel deck for a while. It was one of the decks to brew. But while Vesper's looking that up, normally I like to start with iconic field spells if they matter. This deck doesn't have an iconic field spell. This deck is fucking weird in that it really doesn't care about the extra deck. So your extra deck is your field spell. The card you've seen on screen for probably the last, like, 10 minutes is Rock of the Vanquisher.
Or, as it was called in Japan, the empty statue of the fighting god.
Yeah, it's got one of those classic where, like, it has the text and then the subtitle text, so it's like, Rock of Vanquisher, the empty statue of the fighting god. I will say this, to bring back around a comment Axe made earlier, other than, like, the industrial debris in this stage, I would actually say this art style is very Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
I think it's only really this card, but, like, this definitely is, like, I can hear the announcer saying, a tale of souls and swords, eternally retold.
We're almost going straight Dark Souls with our giant evil boss with a weapon stabbed through him. Like, that's just Dark Souls.
Also inside like some kind of ribcage style ravine.
Yeah, there's spooky mountains. The sky is purple, and of course, I'm reasonably certain that this is like. Caesar Valius is clearly, like, when you do, like, arcade mode, Caesar Valius is clearly the final boss, and how he shows up is he is this rock and then probably yanks the spear out of his own fucking chest to fight you or something.
He goes Jinpachi mode, to reference Tekken.
No,
I
like,
think
so...
I'll be able to do that this episode.
Yeah, so, like, it's really cool looking, and it looks like it should be a field spell, but no, this is a Link 1. This is what we're dealing with right now.
I do not see any Vanquish Souls on the OCG.
Okay, yeah, so it was only Master Duel they hit it. I guess in the OCG it just kind of naturally filtered itself out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Rock of Vanquisher is a Link 1. Obviously, it is not a name-checked member of the archetype, but it's a Link 1 that's requirements are exactly 1 Vanquish Soul monster, so you can't say it's not an archetype monster. It has 0 attack, it has just the bottom-down arrow. It can't be used as Link material.
It's a dark rock monster, which I'm sure it exists, but it's a very funny it's a very funny type pairing.
No, it's cute, and I think part of the reason why I think that Vanquish Soul doesn't have a lot of legs in this meta is that first line of text I just said can't be used as Link material. So you've got a really easy in-archetype Link 1, and you are not allowed to use it to Link climb.
Yeah. We are specific. This guy hits the extra monster zone, and he's staying there.
Yeah. Now, that's not to say that you couldn't, like, contrive a way to summon out some extra guys and put them in the spot that this guy points to. But still, you are not doing your usual generic EMZ climb, okay? You have to be clever, which many Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are not. I'll say it. There's a lot of times when I'm dumb as a Yu-Gi-Oh! Player. But Rock of Vanquisher says, while you control a Vanquish Soul monster, your opponent's monsters can only target the card you control with the highest attack, their choice of tied 4 attacks. During the main phase, quick effect, activate one of these effects. Bulleted list. 1. Special summon a Vanquish Soul from your hand. 2. Add a Vanquish Soul from your graveyard to your hand. You're going to use this effect of Rock of Vanquisher once per turn. So, yeah.
In general, it's just a pretty solid,
Yeah.
it's just a pretty solid goon,
Yeah.
pretty solid Link 1.
And like I said, it feels like a field spell type effect. Just a once per turn, special summon a guy. Get him out of your hand. There's no level requirement. This is a deck that's split pretty evenly between level 4s and then level like 6 or up.
Yeah, this was early. This was early mid 2023. So this definitely would have been in the peak era of Konami, just kind of fucking around with card design for a little bit.
No, we had some very creative deck design. Like I said, this came out in Wild Survivor, so that's the same set that gave us the previous cards we've talked about. Nouvelle making a ritual archetype about tributing, as much as Transcendosaurus wasn't really a deck in its own type, they were just like, what's the weirdest shit we can do with dinosaurs? Level 6 tuner. Fuck it, we don't care. We're Konami. They invented, a whole new type, illusion, which is actually had a pretty consistent theming.
Yeah, and the illusion typing in general has, I would say, fairly well received. It can be a little bit of an asshole.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna deny that.
No.
But
I mean, the primary thing is that, as usual, I think it's mostly due to lack of future-proofing, where Konami came up with this very clever idea to make Chimera Fusion, a quick-play fusion spell that is good for summoning monsters with Chimera in their name. And then the typing around the Chimeras, have all those elements. And, there's this card that was already popular in, Branded and Predaplant brews, which is the Guardian Chimera. Well, now you can Guardian Chimera as an interruption on your opponent's turn. So reload your hand and pop up to 2, which is... I have a lot of fun doing that, but I understand that like a lot of interruptions of that style, that can be very annoying. When it's one of those things where, your opponent has to do it to you because they can't see your grip, but when you're on the other side and you're like, okay, I have one card. If this card gets popped, I am fucked. Nah, shit, it's Chimera Fusion. We're fucked. We're going home.
Oh, damn it.
And also, the Illusion deck, the Chimera Fusion style of deck, helps make that narrower because one of their other big fusions is a card that sends a card from your opponent's hand to grave in the end phase. So it's a rip 1. Which is, it's a very reactive deck. It's a little annoying, but it does seem like a lot of generic Illusion support, especially with adding more extra deck guys, is, moving away from that. And we may have some real fun, specific decks in the future, especially with the fact that they are integrating Illusion into the Snake Eye lore with Whitewoods.
Yeah, with the Diabelle, not Diabelle Saga, just Diabellese, Diabelle.
Yeah, Diabelles. But yeah, so they're doing some fun stuff. So we're creative, and this is a sign of that creativity. It's a pretty good card. You probably run, you don't need to use your extra deck for anything else specifically, so you could probably run full 3 copies just so you can keep cycling them.
The Trinidad and Tobago list I was glancing at earlier, it's 3 Rock of the Vanquisher, Phoenix, Hida, Dark, SP, and then just your XC's toolbox. However, I do just want to call out my boy Battle and Boxer King Dempsey. I see.
Yeah, no, that's fun.
Oh right. Oh, that's why. It adds a level 4 Fire Warrior monster.
Hey, let's bring that boy up on screen. Let's talk about our first guy. Definitely the guy that I think is supposed to be the protagonist. The Wikipedia used capital letters for fighting game protagonist, And I'm like, oh man, I don't know if that's that iconic, but I guess we'll see. Let's talk about Vanquish Soul Raisin. I will admit, this guy looks like a fighting game boy. Like, look at him.
You look at this guy and you're like, yeah, that's Ryu Kusanagi bad guy.
Yeah, he's got extra floppy belts. He's got belts on his belts. He's got killer boosted sneakers. He's wearing a hooded jacket with the hood down.
If not for the giant turbine pile bunk rocket tonfas, I guess it would be. He's like a King of Fighters character, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, more accurately, he's a Cyberpunk 2077 character that got dropped into a fighting.
Yes, I will. When? Hold on. So let me see when was Raisin released in Japan?
Raisin was like early 2023, I believe.
Yeah, the Japanese release would be March of 2023. When was Edge Runners officially released?
Edge Runners was like 2021, I'm pretty positive.
2022, yeah. But it was about 6 months 6 months before Raisin came out, you know.
Look, we're not going to say there was any intent.
I'm not going to say this is just Yu-Gi-Oh! David Martinez, but he does have a side cut.
Cyberpunk character design.
Yeah. He does have a side cut and an iconic jacket.
Yeah.
But they are also doing their own thing. He does have these huge jet booster arms, which do appear to have little handles like Tonfa's. So, like, he's clearly got some extra shit, you know, going on. But he's looking cool. I like the way they've drawn this, where you can see the, like, comic book style cut in the background.
He's doing his Persona crit animation.
Yeah. Other than that, he is, like, just kind of a guy, so it's hard for me to have any extra critique. I mean, the artist has captured, you know, a fighting game type style very good, because he looks mostly normal, but obviously got just a little bit of extra zazz. I wish I could tell what his necklace was.
Yeah, this design, like, in the full context of the archetype, he looks normal. When we started out with him, you're like, man, this guy's got a lot going on. Oh, don't worry. I don't want to say we get worse. We get more.
Yeah. And like I said, I think that's fine, because that's like that makes sense for him to be probably one of the central characters. You know, he is one of the few who has his, like, signature move as a spell trap. So, like, as one of your franchise forward characters, it makes sense that he's, like, normal, he's graspable. I would not necessarily want to speculate on exactly what his, like, moveset is like, but I would assume that he has, you know, like, probably a reasonable, you know, style.
My assumption is very much a Marvel vs. Capcom Spencer style, because this guy definitely bionic arms the shit out of you with those taunt.
And, like, the wiki is, like, they assume that he's an all-rounder type character, or they also use the phrase Shotokan, like, they're talking about, like, Ryu from Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Soul Bad Guy from Guilty
If you don't know what a Shotokan is, one, it's not what you think it is. If you've never read fighting game lingo, a Shotokan is just your box standard term for your guy who just has every basic input. He has the most comprehensible fighting style. Yeah. He's got your quarter circle fireball. He's probably got some kind of like anti-air. He's gonna have some kind of, like, gap closer move.
And here's the thing: looking at Raisin, I assume he has all of those things. He has giant jet boosters. Of course, he can, like, do anti-airs and gap closers and probably shoot fire at you. Like, why wouldn't he be able to do those things? So
yeah, like, the Vanquish archetypes designs are really good in that you can see this character and instantly, because you know it's very much a fighting game style, you can visualize the basic animations in your head. Like you can see this guy just you can see this guy winding up one of those boosters, just throwing it up in the air, and like a Ken Tatsumaki, like a little fire tornado launches you up in the air or something.
So Vanquish Soul Raisin is also one of your, more iconic signature guys for the playstyle. He's a Fire Warrior, level 4, 1800 attack, 1500 defense. This is another thing, because this deck plays around with types. There's a lot of very funny support cards, like you run your one of Rhoda in this deck usually because Raisin's really important.
You play King Dempsey in your extra deck, apparently.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of funny stuff going on. He's got a decent stat line, too. Not too strong, but not too weak. 1800, 1500 defense. When this card is normal or special summoned, add a non-warrior Vanquish Soul monster from your deck to your hand. He is just your Stratos. He just brings forth a guy. He also has a quick effect. You can activate one of these effects by revealing monsters in your hand with the listed attributes. If you show a fire monster, he can't be destroyed by card effects this turn. If you reveal a fire and a dark monsters, destroy all other monsters in this card's column. You can only use each effect once per turn and cannot activate more than one in the same chain. So it is a quick effect, but you can't chain both effects together.
He's an anti-Mekk-Knight card. It's funny.
So he blows up columns, and he protects himself. Seems pretty reasonable. Tech, he's a leading character. Sets up for your other guys by fishing them out. Sets up a lot of stuff.
1800 stat line is not bad, and Rocket the Vanquisher, was it part of the original release?
Yes, Rocket Vanquisher was in there right away. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you have to think of all these cards in the context of Rocket the Vanquisher. Your opponent cannot attack your weaker assholes. So your main starter being 1800 is pretty solid. I'm pretty positive there are weaker monsters. Yeah, there's a few weaker monsters in the list.
Yes. So
Raisin may not be the biggest bungus, but he can still play some interference. I was trying to think of the right word for your weaker goons.
But yeah, so Raisin, has very well balanced effects. And like I said, you can, if you want to interpolate, he has, a fireball or some kind of other, powerful ranged attack, that could be the column destruction, blast some guys, Maybe he has, counter or iframe moves. That's why he's indestructible. It works out.
He's gonna Ryu Moment 37 you into hell.
All right.
Ken, I guess.
And now we play my favorite part, which is Raisin is a normal human man. The other two level 4s are ladies, and the internet is normal about them. Starting with Vanquish Soul Pantera.
Oh, hey, it's Cheetah.
Yes, this woman is also a cat.
Yeah.
And I think a pretty decent, design. She's got kind of
I see Lothgar just in time for Pantera.
Sorry, chat can't hear me smile. But yeah, Pantera's costume is an animated up wrestling, costume. Not that obviously wrestling is, already glitzed up a little anyway, but it clearly looks like it's inspired by an actual wrestling leotard, but it's not, because it's two pieces and she has thigh windows cut into it.
She has thigh windows cut into the top and bottom.
Yeah, and I think they might be asymmetrical.
She's got some kind of metal belt.
Yeah.
Like some kind of accessorized metal belt that would definitely cut into her fucking skin if she bent the wrong way.
And she's wearing laced up wrestling boots, but because she has clawed cat feet, they're cut out.
There's no point to wearing these boots.
Yeah. She has a cape for some reason because it looks cool.
It's for her wrestling entrance. She's she throws it over herself in her intro.
Oh, it's only half on her. It's part of the pauldron she's wearing on her side.
Yeah. She probably throws it aside dramatically.
It could just be part of the aesthetic of what she's kind of supposed to be, which is our rushdown character.
Yeah.
She's our Cammy, Chun-Li, our Mai,
one of the ones that I think is probably a very direct inspiration is the wiki mentions Felicia from Darkstalkers, the cat girl.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So that's probably a fairly obvious inspiration here.
It's a composite of a lot of ideas.
Yeah. So quite a wide variety of those, and it makes sense. She's probably not like a straight up grappler, but lots of going back and forth, lots of high speed attacks, catching people off guard. Apparently,
she's going to have a command grab where she straddles you and kills you. And
yes, no. I mean, with those thigh windows, those are absolutely weaponized in at least one animation.
Yeah.
Say goodbye to your neck bones.
No,
or maybe your skull. I don't fucking know. Those are pretty muscled thighs.
To directly reference a Cammy move, she's going to jump in the air, wrap her legs around your neck, and just barrel your head into the ground. She's gonna 360 flip you into the ground.
And apparently, at least according to the wiki, using fast attacks to bait your opponent into a mistake you can punish is known as playing footsies. So her having this kind of like kick-focused pose makes perfect sense.
I would even say her cape is almost Matador-esque, which kind of plays into that aesthetic even more.
Yeah.
She is baiting you into making a mistake.
Also, her name is Pantera, so I hope that the community will not mind if I assume that she is a fiery Latina. Her name is Pantera. Though she is not a masked wrestler.
Yeah, she's not a masked, but Pantera is just a good design.
Yeah.
Her stats are actually pretty solid too.
So she's an Earth Beast Warrior, so she's our first Earth in the level 4 slot. Obviously, Beast Warrior makes a lot of sense. She has 1,700 attack and 1,900 defense, so she's not as strong as Raisin, but does have a pretty good defense for a level 4 for that amount of attack.
Yeah, the stat line really the stat line vibes very well with the playstyle of a rushdown character. They don't have the best attack, but they have options to play keep away.
Yeah.
And force your opponent into a bad situation, which fits with a high defense.
And also it makes sense because the first of her pip effect we'll talk about in a second. But also she has another effect. Pantera is, one of your archetype's free specials. If you control no monsters in your MMZ, you can special summon this card from your hand. So if you normal summon another level 4 and make a Rock of Vanquisher, you can still summon a Pantera and get her out there. So, just a good way to get extra bodies on board. Again, kind of like presumably talks about her high speed ability to get in there. And then she has a quick effect for activating one of these two effects by revealing monsters. Her first one is you reveal 1 Earth. This card can't be destroyed by battle this turn, so, defensive options, as opposed to Raisin being a card effect specifically. And then Earth and Fire is destroy all spell traps in this card's column. You only activate one effect per turn. More than one
artifact type of this card.
Yeah, so, I don't actually know if anybody tried to set up the Scythe Lock in Vanquish Soul.
I fucking doubt it.
But you
could. I don't think you should.
If you ever had any kind of proc on popping your own back row, that is a thing that Pantera can do. But also, she can blow up your opponent's back row, and that can be helpful depending on where you put columns and stuff. And the fact that she has an inherent special makes it really easy to place your columns.
Yeah, I don't think Scythe was ever alive by the time Vanquish Soul came out. But
that may actually be true. I don't know. I'd have to double check what region Scythe is not allowed in. It took him a while to figure out that Scythe might be a problem.
When my brain sees a card that can pop your own spell and traps, I instantly equate, you can hit Scythe with this. Like, you shouldn't, but it's funny.
Yeah, it's funny. But yeah, so in many ways, Pantera is just kind of your opposite character from Raisin. She's protected from battle, he's protected from card effects, he pops monsters, she pops spell traps. And they can very easily go together because obviously you can, normal Raisin, search Pantera. You could use his, reveal effect if you have the monsters to pop a monster, or you can just turn him into a Rock of the Vanquisher, and then you can summon out Pantera.
Yeah.
To keep positive names on board. So all in all, pretty good steez. And now let us showcase another perfectly normal woman. Hey everybody, it's Dr. Madlove.
You know, this is just a normal lady. I don't see anything wrong with it.
We just have a weirdo with ideas.
Yeah, so this character, art style wise, I feel like Dr. Madlove is definitely leaning a little more in the Skullgirl style, especially because the wiki assumes she is probably more of a like projectile type zoner, you know, using projectiles and reach to like block out areas and maintain distance, which includes Peacock from Skullgirls.
Yeah, so it's been a while since I've seen Skullgirls. So I'm gonna Google images and search up Peacock. And forgot to clarify. But yeah, no. I mean, especially with Peacock's design. Okay, that is what I thought it was.
Yeah.
The fucking cartoon like cartoon gloves, even down to that. Like,
Yeah.
she's your projectile zoner. She's just going to chuck shit at you from full screen away, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Literally, one of her giant comical hands is holding a little potion bottle to yeet at you.
Yeah.
Like, so she's
Holding
throwing
a
like
potion
grenades and
bottle.
stuff. She can probably do something very annoying with like the drill shoots out a big straight line. Probably some kind of like overhead slam with the hammer.
Yeah. To give a direct analog, this is just Simon in Smash Brothers. She's gonna throw that hammer with a giant like overhead arc.
Yeah.
That just has a bizarre like angle that she'll never be able to predict. If she does a different input, it has different angles. So
Yeah.
she's gonna sit on one side of the screen, chuck 5 projectiles, and you just have to guess.
Which,
You
of
have to
course, like, obviously, sounds, you know, really annoying. So naturally, we've given this to one of the best character designs. Look at this disaster woman. She has a fucking heart in place of one of her pigtails. She's doing the thing where, like, one of her sleeves, she's got a hand out, but the other is, like, doing the super anime, like, hand and sleeve thing. She's got big, chunky, thigh-high boots with a little bit of thigh squish. Is she wearing I think she's wearing a weird tie that's purple. She's got her fucking...
Yeah, she is.
ID
I
badge.
do love her scientist goggles. I guess they have hearts.
Yes.
Her eye protector goggles, whatever you
Yeah,
want to
she's
call them.
got
I don't know
goggles
the
with
word.
big hearts. There's the hearts on her boots. There's hearts on her ice cream cone.
Yeah, I didn't want to call it that because it sounded stupid, but yeah, that's
It's shaped like an ice cream cone. I don't know if that's what it actually is.
Well, actually, it probably is because her drill, I guess, realized it's an ice cream cone, so it probably is.
Oh yeah, it is also cone themed. Yeah, so she's got all kinds of funny stuff going on. And actually, I've just realized it's because the way her arm is bent, it's hard to tell. But in her other hand, like, because you can't see where her hand is because it's in the sleeve, but it looks like she's gripping another test tube that is foaming some evil pink shit.
Yeah, and like the same hand has several like vials of suspicious liquid.
She's ready to rock. It's great. Also, you can see from the zoom in that her pupils are hearts as well. If you look in the upper corner, you can see it looks like she's got little hearts in her eyes. Great lady. We love to see her.
This is a great design.
Yes.
We're not going to see a bad design of Vanquish Soul, which has kind of been the theme in our fail Portrayal recently. Like there just aren't that many.
Aesthetically, it
recent
seems
bad
like
designs.
Konami has really gotten their shit together. Like I don't know what tools they're using. I think we knock on wood. I pray it never happens. But Yu-Gi-Oh has not had any AI fake art controversy, unlike other card games I could name. So, like, generally I assume that we have actual artists. I mean, they're not credited, which sucks, but, like, we have actual artists, like, using proper tools to make these designs, and they've got them pretty locked in. So, Vanquish Soul Dr. Madlove is a Dark Fiend. She's only got 1,200 attack. She's another level 4, by the way, but has 2,000 defense, which, again, I think really sets the theme there. You know, this character's not necessarily going to be aggro and, like, do a lot of damage, but she's really good at sitting back, maybe doing some chip damage. Her effect is, if she's normal or special, add a Vanquish Soul spell trap. So she is your other searcher. Quick effect, activate one of these effects by revealing monsters. So if you reveal one dark, one face-up monster your opponent control loses 500 attack and defense. If you reveal a dark and an earth, return the monster with the lowest defense on the field to to the hand. Your choice if tied. You can only use each
Yeah,
effect.
her dark effect is probably her tossing like those vials at you. It just stacks a poison debuff on you or something.
So some kind of annoying debuff effect. And I would assume that means that she probably has a very funny attack with the hammer where she does. Oh, what do they call that move when you force a team switch? There's a name for it, but I've forgotten it.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know the actual word.
I literally, not on purpose, but I literally just watched the Russian Badger Marvel vs. Capcom video again. He talked about the technique, but I don't remember what the term is. But yeah, one of those like forced switch moves.
There are unique terms in every game, but yeah, like, it's a forced switch. You're gonna punch the enemy, they're gonna go flying, and another ally is gonna pop out.
So yeah, no, it again, a great little package, and I think that like all three of our level 4s have very solid utility. Like each of them has a distinct effect. Reason searches monsters, Mad Love searches spell traps, and Pantera summons herself, in case you need more bodies. Obviously, that makes it really easy. If she's your first card summoned, and then you still have your normal, you can, set up for overlays as well. Turtle up, Baguska if you have to, any of your other normal level 4 shit. All that stuff. And then they have their own unique effects balanced out. Obviously, the Reveal 1 attribute effects are fairly mild, but the fact that they're on quick effects can be very helpful. Like, 500 attack and defense is nothing to sneeze at on a quick effect speed.
Well, and not to mention, like in the context of Rocket the Vanquisher, you're probably never actually going to attack Dr. Madlove.
Yeah.
Realistically. She has the second lowest stat line in our lineup, but the other one is fake. We'll get to that when we get there.
Yeah. So, So 500 attack on like I said, on a quick effect on either player's turn can be quite significant if you've got her set up to activate it. And I think all of the double effects on the level 4s are pretty significant if you can pull them off correctly, Spell traps in the column can be very punishing to your opponent if you set it up right.
Monsters, it can get the extra monster zone.
Yeah, so, monsters in column is very spicy. On a quick effect, too, remind you.
You're always throwing Raisin in your opponent's extra monster zone column.
Yeah. So,
Relinquish Anima, be damned.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel it's a fucking quick effect, so you dare your opponent to activate their Anima effect, You're like,
yeah.
Oh, buddy, are you betting that I don't have the 2 attributes, And, Mad Love is fucking. I mean, it's lowest defense, but still, generally monsters with lots of attack have lower defense. So you just get to do a bounce back, or you can even do a defensive bounce back if one of your guys is about to be trounced because they've been put in a weird position. Because it just says that they have to target the monster with the highest attack. If your opponent shifts them to defense position, that will not necessarily save them.
It does say return the monster with the lowest defense, so it's not optional. So it only ends up if the lowest defense ends up on your side of the field.
Yeah, so it's one of those situations though where you might, depending on how things are done, you might be able to dodge certain attacks. And all in all, it's all got really good utility. And obviously, the ideal form of activating Dr. Madlove is when you know your opponent has the lowest defense. She herself has a pretty good defense to avoid this problem. And like I said, honestly, your weakest link in that combo is Raisin. And I'm going to be honest, if you're not about to die, putting your Raisin back in your hand to reload his on-summon effect to search him guy, probably not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, and
probably.
Before I move on from Mad Love, it would be remiss to not mention the original zoner of zoners that Mad Love is definitely inspired by, which is our boy Guile. His theme goes with everything. It's a banger.
Sonic Boom.
Yeah, Sonic
Boom.
Look, if you've ever played a Street Fighter game, Sonic Boom is etched into your core memories.
Yeah,
just the line.
Do you think Dr. Madlove tells anybody to go home and be a family man? Digging up some ancient Guile memes.
You should become a family man now.
I mean, listen, like I said, people on the internet are normal about Dr. Madlove. I'm sure nobody has had that thought.
Clearly not.
All right, but now we're gonna move up to some of our chunkier boys. We have, like I said, a few level 6s and ups.
We have one suite of Fire, Earth, Dark in low levels, Fire, Earth, Dark in high levels, and then Zhaolong's here because he came.
Zhaolong's here because we really needed him. Actually, Zhaolong really brings the deck together. So
yeah, we needed one more.
Listen, this fighting game, the roster's a little small. We had to release our first character pack. But look, first we'll start with our...
It's Killer Instinct, where it dropped with like 5 fighters, and like, don't worry, we'll make more.
Yeah.
We promise.
Yeah, so we're going to start with the fire on the other side. This is Vanquish Soul Pluton HG. He's just a little goo boy.
He's just a little guy.
He is the goop.
This is the one that I would say is probably the biggest reach, but I don't think it's like a bad one.
It's not wrong. It's just one of those things where it's much harder to picture. So the wiki assumes that because spoilers, this guy has 0/0 attack, but he can modulate his attack with his effect and his defense. So he's 0/0, but that changes. The wiki assumes that means that he's probably a stance type character. Where, depending on what positions you take, you can change your stance to get access to different movesets.
Yeah, he's a stance character, like everyone's favorite Street Fighter character, Balrog.
Yeah. So that is probably correct. Definitely his character design is not a lot like those characters. That said, this is not unusual for fighting games to have some of these weird-ass character designs, right? Like, there's a few out there.
Oh, yeah, like...
Which game is it that... it's one of the Arc Systems ones. Which one of the games that has this guy that's just a tank?
That's not an Arc System game. That is Under Night and Birth.
Oh, I may be thinking of a... I may also be thinking of that, but then I may be thinking of a different guy as well.
There's a character under. Oh wait, oh no, never mind. It is Arc System Works. I'm stupid. I just assumed it wasn't. But yeah, there's an Under Birth character who is he's just a tank. Like, I don't know his name.
Yeah, no.
Oh, do you want to know what his name is? Apparently Blitz Tank.
It is Blitz Tank. That's funny. So yeah, like there's a few
oh my
like
God, his
guys.
His name I'm sorry. His name in Japanese is apparently Denko Sensha. Which is a very layered pun that we don't have time to get into anymore. Here's Denko Sensha.
Yeah.
You wanna put him on screen for people.
Yeah, here, let's
understand what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Hey there, Law. You're real now.
Yeah, also, fuck you. And apparently, fuck my timing for showing up exactly when Pantera is being discussed. What the fuck?
There was no attempt to insult. It's just true.
Facts.
Oh yeah, no. I wouldn't say it was an insult. I'm saying fuck you for speaking the truth.
All right, it's a little weird because my.
All right, well, what am I just putting up? Denko Sencha, it's a very layered pun because it's like this word Denko Seka, a word you may be familiar with as a Yu-Gi-Oh player. It also refers to a term that's just the speed of light, and Senja is also train, or in this case, a tank.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, this is the character in the fighting game. Just in case you worried we were getting off track. No, this is a character that has fighting moves.
This is a guy you can play.
Yeah.
I'm trying to squish him down into the chat's box. Chat, you are banished to Blitz Tank.
Banished to the Blitz Tank zone.
The audio copy Blitz Tank.
But yeah, so like there are fighting games that have characters with unusual designs and hitboxes. I believe usually they are fucking annoying. And considering what we're dealing with Pluton HG, probably makes sense. I don't really have a lot to say about him otherwise because he's just a little gooply goo.
He is a rejected mutant design. We'll just say that.
No, that's honestly, how to say it. He's got like some.
Not to say that it looks bad. There's just nothing to say about him because he's just a goop. He has
a funny little skull face in there. He's got like some spines. He has a, X1 standard bone in there for some reason. Also,
a
he has a
saw
buzzsaw.
blade?
I think there's a tea saucer or a bowl in the back, like some
Yeah.
kind of porcelain. He's a very funny little guy, but there's not else to say. Oh, I've just realized there's a key in his goop.
Where?
Right here, there's just a key opposite to the side of the bone.
Oh yeah, you're
like
right. Okay, yeah.
I mean,
it's like,
there's also what seems to be a dinner plate on the left.
yeah.
that
I mentioned
was
earlier, there's a
the-
plate or something.
The
It does
saucer.
also look like, looking at where the key is, he has like a little arm to throw the buzzsaw. But yeah, he's just a little goop guy. So Pluton HG is a fire zombie. Surprisingly popular area. He's level 6. As I mentioned before, 0/0. During your opponent's turn, if you control no monsters or only Vanquished Soul monsters in your main monster zone. By the way, we've mentioned this before. Vanquished Soul is an archetype that is simultaneously very open to other cards in your hand, but usually doesn't like them on your field, which is part of the reason why you play hand traps. Usually you don't want to be summoning Maxi or Ash Blossom. So, that won't interfere with any of your effects. But if you only have Vanquished Souls in your MMZ, quick effect, special summon this card from your hand.
Honestly, even then, I guess revealing a hand trap is not the best thing to do, but also what's your opponent going to do about it?
Yeah, you show your opponent Ash to activate one of these effects, for instance. By the way, quick effect, you can reveal monster attributes to activate effects. If you reveal just a fire, he gains 3,000 defense. If you reveal a dark and an earth, he gains 3,000 attack. You can only use each effect once per turn and can't activate more than one in the same chain.
Yeah, so I assume the stance idea, because of the effects, is like
Yeah.
he probably becomes some giant, just becomes this giant blob for defense, and probably just, I don't know, he becomes a giant saw blade or something. I don't know.
I don't know exactly what the
It's
stance
a blob.
looks like,
He
but
could do literally anything.
yeah.
The problem with this one is that the possibilities are infinitesimal. There is no probable way to actually imagine what he could do, because he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
He's non-Euclidean.
Yeah, he's just goop with spikes. Maybe he shoots spikes. But yeah, so like Vesper said though, yeah, okay, you quick effect reveal a fire. You show the opponent you have Ash in hand. Well, that just means that they know you have Ash in hand. So it's like, hey, do you have Crossout or Called By? No? Do you have some other kind of effect negation? Well, buddy, guess what? You better have 2 moves that I want to Ash, and I pick the wrong one, because you're getting Ash. What are you going to... It's like the argument for why Maxi is such a pain-in-the-ass card, right? It's like, are you going to not special summon?
Sorry, just quickly, because scrolling through Twitter found the perfect response to what you're saying, Omega.
Yeah, fucking the girl stealing Ash.
Also, if your opponent's playing Ash Blossom, we're playing Hida. We're playing Fire Charmer and Promethean Princess and Ambler Whale, or whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah.
In our extra deck too, probably. Who cares? Oh no, you've ashed me. Anyways,
You don't need a fucking... you don't need a fucking extra deck. Take it out. Use it up. Whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, I think it's correctly read by chat. Pluton is probably the one you play the least, because his effects are... They're reactive, but they're the least useful. If you've got your setup anyway, oh no, your opponent can't attack this guy anyway because he's got 0 attack. What does 3,000 defense matter, If that actually matters, that means that your opponent has probably, spot removed your Rock of Vanquisher or something, in which case you may be in trouble anyway.
I'm not saying Pluton in any real
Yeah.
kind of way.
I mean, his 3,000 attack is good. I think the main problem is just that he uses a weird combination of attributes. So if you want to have both sets of his effects, you need to have completely different cards in hand.
Yeah, he's not a bad card, but as stance characters are wont to be, they're very gimmicky.
Yeah. And I will say it's very funny that, we mentioned before that Jiaolong just kind of exists to break the theming. But, also, Jiaolong is a way better Fire 6 than Pluton. So,
Yeah.
I think you pretty immediately make
Well, actually, Jiaolong's a 5, but it doesn't really matter.
he's a 5, yeah. It doesn't actually matter. That's right. I thought they were mostly, they're not normal summonable. Heavy Borger, who will be next, by the way, is a 7, for instance.
He
But
gives
like,
me vibes of that joke character in the roster.
well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Pluton is that guy who's like, when you go to the internet and look up tier lists, he's always at the bottom. But you can find a guy on Twitch or YouTube who knows all the combos, and nobody knows what to do about it.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
so,
it's
like Pharaoh's Phoenix then.
Yes.
he's a Jigglypuff.
Yeah.
Like, he was bottom tier for years until one guy decided, I'm gonna learn this character and I'm gonna make people regret not knowing the matchups.
Yeah.
And like he'll probably go on like a year-long tear where he wins every tourney because how the fuck do you play against this thing?
No one even bothered to know.
And speaking of things we don't want to play against, it's your boy, Vanquish Soul, Heavy Boga.
So this one is probably the most in-your-face reference. This is just Potemkin.
Yeah.
It is
This one is-
Potemkin, and I think also Jaeger. Or I think it's this. What's the guy in Blaze
he's-
Blue? The guy in Blaze Blue. It's like
So, he's got huge hands. He's probably a grappler.
Yeah.
Potemkin obviously is,
Evil
because he's a
Courier.
robot man, is probably the easy one. But also think of, you know him, you hate to see him, Zangief.
He's gonna headbutt you 4 times, take away all your drive bar.
You're gonna land a punch. He's gonna catch it with his giant fist, and he's gonna throw you up into the air into a suplex. You're dead. You are already dead.
oh yeah,
I
he's also. Sorry, Lafka.
My mind immediately goes to Hagar in Ultimate Marvel.
Hagar's another good one, yeah.
Yeah, Hagar.
Iron
And
Tiger.
because Tekken's also in vogue, he's king. He's gonna do a 5 grapple chain and take away all your health.
Yeah.
You can't do anything about it.
Definitely, I think Visper provided a picture of Potemkin. Because that, Robotman helmet, that definitely resolves. Though, I will say, Heavy Burger, great look. He's got a fucking kill the kill ass robot jaw, and also has a hexagonal robot pompadour. It's hard to
Oh,
tell
yeah,
because his
no,
head's
it's-
so tiny, but he's bopping.
Yeah, it's very funny in grapplers how like the grappler design in fighting games is he has the fattest and meatiest hands because like his hands are his callouts for his grapples. You have to see where his hands are at all times, so you know, oh god, I'm being grappled. I can't counter. It's like unlike
Grappler, what
most
big hands you have. All the better to come and grab you with.
yeah.
Like, there is no dodging. There's no blocking these hands. Only
Do
running
not
the fuck
guard,
away.
don't guard. Or what the fuck is the thing that yeah, like there always says this playing is Android 16. Don't jump. Because 16 in
Backdash.
FS has an
An
anti-air grab.
where he just
Oh,
dunks
where
you.
is it?
Yeah, don't jump. No, like absolutely, and I could absolutely see Heavy Burger doing that shit. Like, look at him, he's great. The colors are a little loud. That's not unheard of for fighting games. It just makes it a little harder to track visually what's going on. But he's a great guy. His shoulders are huge. His hands are huge. His thighs are
Like,
huge.
Heavy Burger's biggest flaw is the lens flare happening in his hand.
Yeah, it
would
distracts you a little from the light. It's like I said, it's like I want to look more at his head because he looks pretty cool, even though his head is tiny. Like he's got something going on there, and he's got like a cool power gem in his chest. Like he's rocking it.
There's nothing wrong with this design. It's a very busy design.
Yeah.
Like this is what I'm referring to when I said we get more.
Yeah.
But like you can comprehend this design unlike some other unmentionables from our past failed betrayals. It's just a lot happening all at once.
Yeah. So Borger is a dark machine, obviously. He's level 7. 2,500 attack, 1,500 defense, so a little low in the defense department, but solid average for a level 7.
Well, and I mean for
Attack
grapplers,
stats.
like they don't have defensive options. They're going
yeah.
to walk towards you and grab you. Like
So during your main phase, or during the main phase, I should say, quick effect, target a non-machine vanquish so you control, return it to your hand if you do special summon this card from your hand.
everything but Borger.
Yeah, no, probably means that he's got a good assist move. You know, he is a guy you commonly tag in. And also, quick effect, you can activate one of these effects by revealing. If you reveal a dark, draw a card. Just draw an extra card. That's right, we've got a draw engine in this. Also, if you reveal an earth and fire, inflict 1,500 damage to your opponent. Time card.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I will say this every single time a burn effect comes up. Anything over 1,000 burn damage, I would say does matter. Like it's niche, but anything over 1,000 is a substantial amount of damage that can decide a game.
Well, it's one of those things that, like, and again, the way these are written is you can only use each effect once per turn and can't activate more than one in the same chain. But that does mean that you can still do the Borger setup to summon him out, put a guy back in your hand. If you need to draw an extra card, you can go fishing for hand traps or whatever. Which, by the way, because of the way this deck is run, draw one is a pretty good effect, you know? Whether you're fishing for more spell traps or just, hey, don't have Ash in hand yet, Borger, draw.
Yeah, like, with the unban of Upstart, there's no fucking shot you don't play Upstart in this deck.
Yeah.
You're going fishing.
And hey, guess what? As a quick effect, he does 1,500 damage, which is more than 1,000. So you get to offset Upstart in this deck.
Yeah.
And it's still a quick effect that you can, like, 15 is nothing to shake at. It is a hard once, but it can add up over a couple of turns, especially keeping in mind, once again, this is a main phase quick effect to summon him out. Hypothetically, if you, had the moves, you know, because I think, let me double check how Pluton is phrased. I know he's not popular. Yeah, no, technically, if you wanted to, if you were going second, you could summon Pluton when your opponent controls a monster, because you have to control, on your opponent's turn, you control no monsters in your MMZ. You can summon him out, and then you could bounce him back for Borger. So you can start burning your opponent on turn 1 if you want. There's no FDK, but, like, you can start stacking the damage. It also, you know, like I said, I think I kind of like it as, like, a reference to kind of, like, how grapplers work, because it's a very steady damage. You're just being command grabbed. There's nothing you can do about it. You're going to take your 15. Take your lumps.
Yeah, no, it's a funny concept of a grappler design that they have to have big hands to telegraph their moves. But like I said, like, telegraphing a grapple, if your opponent's near you, they can't do anything about the telegraph. They're just like, I'm being grabbed.
Yeah.
I see.
All right. And then time for our original boss monster, the Earth in this set of the big boys.
Our Kaiser Valius.
Yes, here he is. Vanquished Soul. Probably still supposed to be pronounced Kaiser Valius, even though they write it with a C.
Because it's Japanese, and Kaiser always sounds cooler.
Yes. Also, his translated name is Vanquished Soul Dragon Emperor Valius, so, you know, Kaiser works perfectly fine.
Yeah. It does actually say the Furigana is Kaiser Valius, so it is Kaiser. They can see.
Yeah, they translated it as Emperor. Yeah, so he's got some stuff going on. So obviously, I'm pretty sure that Kaiser Valius is the guy in the rock with the spear stuck in him that he pulls the spear out.
He's the final. He's the story mode arcade. He's the arcade mode final boss that becomes playable in like the third game.
Oh no, he's your Akuma. He's your Vega.
And he looks the part. Also, I just want to say, you know, as a fellow level 90 Dragoon, nice Dragoon glam, man. Looking good. Nice hair.
Yeah.
Like this, he is Earth Dragon type, so this looks like Final Fantasy Dragoon armor. And also, he has Super Saiyan 3 hair. He's cooking.
This is the first time I've ever noticing he's had hair. I'll be
honest. No, that glow behind him is not his aura. He has Super Saiyan hair.
Whenever I saw this design, I just assumed he was just the rock part or like the dragon part.
I feel like
he's powered up.
I assume this would be like, if this is a game, this would be like a sprite-based game instead of like a model. So like everyone.
Probably again, given how we talked about how they've got the aesthetics of like Arxis probably. Also, yes, the wiki explicitly says he's probably a boss character. Susanoo, M. Bison, Akuma, that kind of shit.
The Vega, get it right.
You know, they've got a few different moves here. And they're important in the story. There is, you know, question of like what their moveset is actually like. I would assume, based on what he can do, that Caesar Valius probably has another like Shotokan like balanced moveset. Like he probably has some big ranged options, but otherwise his body's pretty normal. He's just got handsies and footsies and a tail, you know.
He's probably gonna have your balanced he's gonna have your balanced moveset, but then he'll also have like a level 2 where he just full screen command grabs you and takes away 90% of your health because fuck you. He's a boss character.
He'll have some funny tricks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love the look of this guy, and like this is just rad as hell. He's a dragon man. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, like this is a dope ass design.
Yeah.
Like there is nothing else to say. It looks sick. You would think the giant flowing hair contracts from the palette, but it just kind of fades into the background. And
No, it just kind of blends in.
I think for the better.
Yeah. So, Kaiser Valius, as I mentioned before, an Earth Dragon, level 8. He's currently your biggest bungus, obviously, until they decide to reveal the boss behind the boss.
Yeah,
like the fucking Soul Calibur or something.
Pluton can match him in attack stat, but Pluton you don't play.
Yeah. So he's 3K, 1500 defense. Very solid stat line for a level 8. During your main phase, quick effect. Target a non-dragon Vanquish Soul you control, return it to your hand, special summon this card from your hand. So he, like Borger, has the inherent like tag-in effect.
He drops in and the field rumbles in his menacing aura.
Yeah. And then he has quick effect, activate one of these effects by revealing monsters. So far, to let you know just how big of a deal he is, Kaiser Valius is the only one who has a reveal 3. He does have a reveal 1, which is just if you reveal one Earth, this phase of card is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects this turn. He just towers himself.
He's gonna chill on the board. You can't do anything. You gotta kill him.
No.
You can't shenanigans.
Fight
you gotta
me.
kill him.
If you can reveal an Earth, Fire, and a Dark, destroy one other card on the field. Please note, chat, this does not say target. So if you have all 3 attributes, this guy is a non-targeting pop 1, which is very good on a quick effect.
Yeah, non-target instruction is always good. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Mm. And again, that is definitely like his boss character bullshit. He's just like, no, you're dead.
Yeah, while they do not call out any King of Fighters games, this is the King of Fighters ass boss design I've ever seen. Where like for the most part, he has a normal moveset, but he also will have like I said, here's just a full screen grapple that you can't react to. It's just like he'll do it frame 1 on an input, and you're dead.
Or he has like because of all this lightning and stuff, he's got like screen wide like lightning effects or something.
Yeah.
Like it's so yeah, he's probably got some brutal moves in there, and we'll see what his signature attack is because of course, this guy's too cool not to have his signature attack as a spell trap. And also before we leave off on him, once again a reminder: these are each effect is hard once per turn, and you can't activate more than one per chain, but you can activate all of these effects once per turn.
Yeah, okay, he's the counter trap. I'm looking at that. Yeah, okay. We'll let that.
We'll get there because all the spell traps look rad. But we have one more guy to talk about because they added an extra boy. This is Vanquish Soul Jiaolong.
Yeah, so this is our second zoner, our non-projectile zoner, as it calls, including Dulcim. And despite how his name is spelled, it's Billy Khan, even though it's spelled Kane.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. It's just how it is.
I don't recognize the character design for... Okay, now I recognize Axel Lowe. They put the name in there, and I'm like, that doesn't strike me immediately, but it's also a very Guilty Gear-ass name. Yeah, no, this guy has 2 Kusarigawas and a headband.
Billy Khan is definitely one of the big ones because he's the guy who kind of trademarked the 3-section staff in fighting games.
Yeah. I also want to say, obviously he's got a 3-section staff for more flexibility. Also, I do get a little bit of the Kilik from Soul Calibur vibes. If you meet a guy who knows how to play Kilik, you're going to have a bad time. Because hey, guess what? Just like in real life, quarterstaff, bow staff, that kind of shit, a lot of reach, a lot of control. A lot of really dumb things you can do with a long stick.
God damn you, Kilik.
Yeah. And this guy can probably do all of them because he's got very pointy little dragon claws on the end of his staff. So there's probably like, not like full range, but like, shoot out attack for long attacks, do some flexible stuff. He's got a great look as well. Good drip. I have questions though. Why are your leather pants so shiny, Jiaolong?
Why are they so tight as well?
Yeah. But there's some pretty cool stuff going on here. It looks like he's got like a flaming heart, which he probably does. He's got like cool red eyes with like tiny sunglasses. Gives me kind of a
So,
old man Li Shuwen vibes.
Before we reveal his typing, keep in mind that all the types are different.
Yeah.
What do you guys think Xiaolong's type is?
Yeah, if you don't know off the top of your head, chat, which you might, go ahead and give me some guesses. Once again, though, I will say, great drip. Like this, there's a little bit of that extra fashion flair in this coat design with like all the extra layers, but it really works, especially that kind of like fade to red effect. It's really good.
It's a crying shame that Pluton was the zombie, because this guy is fucking Alucard, and I love it.
Yeah, no, like his design is so much that. But we'll see if chat can actually guess his type. I also would say, once again, that leaves this deck incredibly open-ended, because that means that hypothetically their maximum roster could be one for every type in this game.
That'd be cool.
I can't wait till we get our... let me scroll to the bottom. I can't wait till we get our Celestial Warrior Vanquish Soul card. Our Omega Psychic.
I just like we got like literally like the Chinese exorcist with the 3-section staff. That's also kind of a spear.
Yeah, no, like his aesthetic is great. Again, they do a great job of doing all these iconic designs, and you go, "Ooh, I'd play that guy."
Yeah,
it's also the dude that I feel like would have some moves that are kind of oddly feminine. I feel like.
Listen, it's Pride Month, okay? We know what's up.
Okay, I'm saying as in like eye image, because he's got like literally like the full pants, like those pants are like those full boots.
Those are very. I mean, I think they go all the way down to his feet, but those are very tight pants that are also boots.
When
I
saw
image it
Xiao
like,
Long-
go.
When I saw Xiao Long, it took me a second. I'm like, is this a guy or a girl? I can't quite tell. Honestly,
It could.
I
feel like it's kind of
he's
androgynous.
male because of like the shoulder ratio and like the relatively flat chest.
they just happen to be effeminate.
Yeah.
Caesar is correct.
Yeah.
This is a worm.
Oh, because
of Spirit
Xiao
Dragon. Yeah, Xiao Long.
Spirit Dragon. He's a spirit. He's a medium. Yeah. I do image he would do a thing where he literally would do like a neck stomp, a neck stomp as a move.
Probably step on you with the shoes. I would also. I mean, he's got a staff. That probably means he has some moves that involve like climbing and spinning around it for shit.
Or like throwing you.
I mean, when it comes to our staff fighters, a lot of Billy Khan's moves are the original staff fucker. He does just have a move where he pogo sticks his staff into the air.
Yeah, he's it for a pole vault.
Yeah,
I mean, yes, Krishan has a good comment.
It looked like
he looks like he's got the heels for the stomp.
Yeah.
Sorry for not saying anything. I had to quickly go make something in regards to an earlier conversation when it loads.
Uh-oh, we're getting a Loth original meme chat. Eventually. Discord
I
has to
wouldn't say
process it
original.
first.
It's usually just... Yeah.
But yeah, so...
none of the gifts I make I claim to be original.
But yeah, Xiaolong got a great character design, and like I said, we got out there for the typing. He is another fire. He's Fire Wyrm. I don't actually know how many fire worms are.
Clip in the chat for after the stream.
Yeah.
This is.
I mean, I can already see the thumbnail and see just how far he is extending that.
Yeah. To give an idea of just the thumbnail, it is Billy Khan from full screen poking you with his staff.
Yeah.
Like he is on the other side of the screen.
That's some Monkey King shit.
Yeah.
I
So the man is like
I do the punchline. But
this
sorry, I'm watching the
man is animation canceling. Like, fucking hell.
So the GIF Loft posted is a great case of the 16 grab where it fucking teleports into it like a doofus.
Yeah. If you have seen any compilation of big fighting game clips, and you've ever watched a Lythero fighting game, you know the Pharaoh DBZ video. You've seen it. You've seen the hit doing his level 1 into the grab. You've seen
Great.
it.
And you should go see it if you haven't. Lythero's videos are great.
Yeah.
I had to go digging. It was Lobby Shenanigans 4. I was like, is it one of the recent ones? No, it was fucking 3
it's an
years
ancient
ago.
one.
Yeah, no, but there are. I think there's like multiple part best of Android 16 comps for Lythero, but you should check them out. So Vanquish Soul Jiaolong has is level 5, but has 2,400 attack and 2,100 defense. So
Pretty
good
solid
stats
stat
for a
line.
5. Yeah, we're. I think they realized one of the reasons why Pluton is a little awkward, because if you don't. If he ends up being your only monster, you're kind of fucked, because he's just a 0/0. Doesn't do that stuff that's that interesting. First of all, Jiaolong has a unique special summon effect, which is if you reveal a card in your hand or cards in your hand to activate a Vanquish Soul card or effect, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card. So he has a fairly unique way of just popping out onto the screen. Also, quick effect, you can activate one of these effects by revealing the appropriate monsters with the attributes. Reveal 1 fire. Change the battle position of one monster on the field. Just reveal 2 fire. Add a Vanquish Soul from your deck to your hand, except Jiaolong.
Yeah, so a Xiaolong goes, hey, you're playing 3 Ash Blossom. Like this is non-negotiable in this deck now.
Yeah, no. You reveal 2 fires, and you can just search anything. And if you reveal 1 fire, you just get to a guy, which is useful. This, while, funnily enough, actually, I think that we would think of Vanquish Soul as kind of a mid-range deck. Like, they've got some swarming, but also they have some big guys. They have a couple of, spell traps that do interesting interactions. So they're kind of, like, very broad. But primarily, your victory condition is stick a couple of your big boys like Borger and Kaiser Valius on the board, punch face.
And I would say now Xiaolong. Like, 24 is not, like, a big
24 is
boy,
not,
but...
especially because he has a position switching effect. As we've mentioned, lots of big guys have little defense. So.
Yeah, Caesar Valius, for example, 1,500 defense.
Yeah.
Xiaolong...
Yeah, so
Xiaolong
you
can kick Kaiser Valius' ass.
Absolutely clean them up when you're ready to go. Yeah, so it's... and it's one of those things where, like I said, Jiaolong is just... even though he was once again released in just the next set, the next couple sets down. In Age of Overlord, once again, reminding you how fucking cracked that set is. Just, like, adds so much to the deck because he gives you a way to search Raisin, with Search 2 fires. The change effect is really easy to special summon and just consistently gives you more fires, which is really important for reasons we're going to go into in a second. So it's just, like... he adds so much to the deck, and I will say I am kind of sad that we haven't continued our quote-unquote DLC theme, because presumably that means we've got design room for, like, an Earth and a Dark who are, like, reveal 1 Dark, do 1 thing, reveal 2 Darks, do, 2 things to, like, broaden the deck out.
It definitely feels like they stepped back when they saw how successful it already was. Yeah. And unfortunately, that just didn't happen on a large scale in TCG, because like I said, like there were a non-zero amount of TCG tops, but as you mentioned, like they were not YCS.
Yeah,
they were still decent in this tournament.
Vanquish Soul, as you've seen from this is their entire monster lineup so far. As you can see, they've got some really unique effects. They started right out the gate with all the starters they need. With your 3 different level 4s, you have all the tools you need to search whatever parts of your toolbox you don't have in hand. You probably have multiple guys, so you can probably play through non-engine. The deck is begging you to play non-engine so that you have attributes lurking in your hand to show. And we haven't even touched their spell trap lineup yet, which also has some pretty classic moves. It has all the tools it needs to be broadly applicable and adjust to the matchup. It's just, like I said, they do not necessarily want you in your extra deck, which is probably the main thing that holds them back, is they do not have a good extra deck synergy. You're mostly playing rank 4 funny turbo and then just, everybody's same old Link 2s and 1s, obviously, with your archetype 1. So you lack some of that extra deck punch. You need to have the right cards in hand to make the right moves. And just their punch is not as much as you'd like. A 3K guy who can be unaffected and can do a non-targeting pop is pretty good, but is not necessarily gonna beat, like, a board where your opponent made, like, Appaloosa and, another big asshole. Or back in the day, obviously, like, the classic setup of, like, hey, here's Barone. And here's my big Chungus. I put this guy.
You know what? One brief aside. I scrolled a little further down the deck list of Vanquish Soul. This deck did have tops. It won a Winnipeg with WCQ back in March.
Oh, damn.
Okay. So they got some out.
A regional of about 130 duelists. It got runner-up in Niagara Falls WCQ, which was about 220.
Yeah, so it's
And it
got
got
some
top 4.
space.
It got top 8 at a 300-man WCQ, which is like top 8's lower, but 300 people is a fucking lot.
And I guess I'm saying I want to like. I don't think I want to say that the deck's never gotten tops. It's just very clearly not like slotting into a high tiered slot in the meta, especially right now. And I think a lot of people, I feel like opinions on this deck when it was revealed to the TCG were split. Some people realized that, and obviously it had top cuts in the OCG, were like, oh, this deck will not be as good because you can't splash Maxi in it over here. And then some people were like, no, this deck's good. And it's like, it never was quite as bad who the people who said Vanquish Soul would be bad thought it would be, but it wasn't quite as good as the people who thought Vanquish Soul would be really good thought it would be. So it's kind of in that weird middle zone.
I would say that, like, you can fairly easily swap Maxi for Ghost Bell, but Ghost Bell is definitely a far weaker hand trap. I'm not saying it's bad, but fuck, you're comparing anything to Maxi as a hand trap is like comparing comparing like a Stinger Missile to an Atom Bomb.
Yeah, no. There is a reason why Maxi is such a point of contention, and also why it's a card in Master Duel that has fucking over 90% play rate.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason. That said, like, Ghost Bell is a solid utility piece, you know, and there's other room for weird shit. Isn't that one card that blocks you from Xyz summoning also an Earth? It's one of the other C's, so I would expect it is.
Yeah, Flying Sea, the first one I joked about.
Yeah, so, like, there's some weird shit.
The problem with Flying Sea now is that it's just frame link material, so
yeah,
no one.
You don't want to. You can't get away with it unless your opponent's absolutely not playing links. But then, that's the thing to waste a couple of card slots on your side. But yeah, so it's a very flexible deck. It obviously has room to pick it up, but it does not have the like explosive. Again, it's a middle of the road deck. Its ceiling is a little lower than you might expect, but also the floor's a little lower than expect. If you play the deck, for the most part, it'll just kind of come together. You got some fires and some earths and some darks, you'll be okay.
It has neither an explosive combo versatility or nor an incredibly annoying resilience.
Yeah.
It is.
It can be a little resilient. They've got the Rock of the Vanquisher literally lets you once per turn add a guy back from your graveyard to your hand. So, you know.
Yeah, like there's a built-in recursion, but in a wide-reaching standpoint, this deck is not like to give an ancient comparison, and because we're talking about Zhao Long, it's no Yang Zing where you physically cannot get them off the board unless you force them to miss timing.
Yeah.
Like it's not like that.
But we're going to talk about spell traps first. Here's a really important one. This was our thumbnail. This is called, also it's the titular card of this stream, Stake Your Soul.
Stake Your Soul. Yeah.
Which is clearly like what the announcer shouts screen. when you pick it.
Yeah, this is the loading screen when both characters have both players have chosen their characters, and we're going into the fight.
Yeah. So, the lightning forms the phrase V and S.
I was gonna say that that's a very cool aesthetic flair.
Yeah. You see the different expressions. This is one of those things where, like, I'm not sure where the fuck the meme originated. Does anybody know where Stake Your Nose came from?
I've never heard that.
It was I think it was mostly around like Master Duel streams. It's a thing I heard MBT and a couple of others say about Vanquish Soul. I forgot the name for a second. But this could just be like a weird, a Luber the Boober of Duber thing where just like MVT thought it was funny once. And as much as I appreciate Joseph's commentary, I also think he's never met a bit he wasn't willing to die for.
What do you mean? Like Secrets of Eternity? It was released in January 2015,
That's fair. I know you're part of the reason why that started.
That was not part of the reason. I was just there for it.
I mean, I was there in chat too, but I
mean, you went on his Discord and kept going.
You don't know that.
That's admitted to it.
Listen, memes are memes. I think that is the one thing that, like, even Joseph himself got tired of just like it happening all the time. It still comes up, but yeah. So like I don't know where it came from. I don't think chat really.
He literally went to an
gets it.
airport thing to like recreate the really dumb thing about. I don't want to re-explain it, but if you know what I'm talking about, he went to the
Yes,
airport.
he did a meme
that.
photo about my girlfriend's upset about my Yu-Gi-Oh! Free vacation. He even got Jillian in on the bit. He's having a great time. But yeah, Stake Your Soul is a very important card. It's not searchable, so you got to be careful because it does not count as a versus soul card, but it's part of your Wambus, which is it's a normal spell. Reveal a monster in your hand. Special summon a Vanquish Soul with the same attribute but a different name from your deck. Return it to your hand during the end phase. You can activate one Stake Your Soul per turn. This is also, by the way, why Xiaolong is really important, because it gives you another good fire target to bridge into Raisin. You really want to summon Raisin off of Stake Your Soul so that you can start searching out other guys and get your combos started. But that would mean that you would have to reveal Pluton HG, which, as we discussed, is a very situational tool. Now that you can play through Xiaolong, you don't care.
Yeah, you are playing Pluton just because you really fucking needed a fire Vanquish Soul monster to summon Raisin.
And now you don't. You can play freely, and so really ups the quality of Stake Your Soul. Additionally, Stake Your Soul just also means you can instantly get any guy if you've got the right combo. Like, you don't even have to search out Kaiser Valius. If you have a Pantera, you can just be like, and the big guy.
He's here. Eat shit. Well, not only that, you will have the Earth in your hand
to make him unaffected. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Same with like set up for Heavy Borger out of nowhere on Dr. Madlove, and you can still normal after this, so you don't have to keep your 4s in hand. So like you've got a lot of funny options, and it is a real core card to the deck, and it's probably why Konami was actually kind of smart and did not make it searchable in Archetype, because otherwise,
to give a very quick combo line. It's Stake Your Soul, reveal Xiaolong, summon Raisin, Raisin effect, reveal Xiaolong, activate Xiaolong, summon Xiaolong, and you've with a 2-card combo, you haven't even used your normal summon, and you've gotten 2 guys on the field, and a search, which can probably go into Pantera or anything, or Caesar Valius or Heavy Borger, so you can bounce Raisin back to your hand to summon one of those guys. Like, look, the combo lines are. You could have
used
linear.
one of them to link it to Rock a Vanquisher and then add them back with Vanquisher's effect. Like, it's just, again, the deck's very flexible, very, very spicy. I think probably another thing is that I feel like Vanquish Soul is weak to certain floodgates. Obviously, the ban list has helped with that. What is it? Which one's one attribute only? Gozen?
Gozen.
Yeah, Gozen match slaughters you.
Gozen
You're
and
dead.
Rivalry.
Oh yeah, you're all different types too. So only one type. Either of those floodgates kicks your ass. Probably you would play Tikbu as your one copy of a floodgate because you don't care.
Because I mean, even down to our Link monster, he's a rock. So like there is no overlapping.
Yeah, zero type overlap. And for the most part, I think your hand traps even don't have that problem. Like, you've got.
Well, it's funny. Ash Blossom is your fire zombie.
Yeah.
He replaces Pluton, or she replaces Pluton.
Maxi, if you're playing a Master Duel format, or the OCG is, the Earth Insect, obviously, but
Earth Insect.
You got a
Ghost
few different
Spell
combos.
Is unfortunately an Earth Zombie, so. But you're probably never summoning Ghost Spell.
Yeah,
so
the odds that you'll actually summon her are very low. And, Duty Crow is a bard.
There is Effect Veiler, which some people play Effect Veiler, Light Fairy, so
Veiler doesn't doesn't have any direct, attribute utility at this time. Though, again, if Konami, hey, if you want to do, a parallel game thing or a different lineup, I'd love to see what the, water, wind, light, suite is like,
Sorry, you mentioned that, and my brain remembered a time in Master Duel. Me and the other opponent bricked so bad, we both summoned Ash Blossoms in attack position and just killed it.
I mean, yeah. So listen, you gotta do what you gotta do, but
we need to get the parallel archetype Sanguish Volt.
But yeah, so Stake Your Soul, very important. Also, probably one of my favorite named and drawn cards in the archetype. This is Vanquish Soul Continue.
Continue. Yeah. This is what happens when you play Pluton.
Yeah. You have to get a game over. Got to put more tokens in. By the way, shout out to the TCG. There was no punctuation on this in the Japanese version, obviously, but they added the question mark, which just makes it so quintessentially appropriate.
Better.
This is the continue screen. You've died. What are you gonna do?
Not even that. They add the hyphen as like a pause break.
Yeah.
And then it is Vanquish Soul card, but like
Yes.
the break, and then
Oh my
continue.
god. I didn't realize what that thing was at the bottom. He's reaching out a tiny little hand.
Yeah, he's got a little
his-
hand. He's got a
his
couple
little
little
hand.
sweat drops. It's Pluton. He's dead. You've game overed. The bowl is back, and the bone. There's the key back there. He's doing like
I
little
do like
tears.
that his eyes a little like spiral. He's
He's got a little swirly eyeball in there. So this is a quick play spell card that says, pay 500 LP, target a Vanquish Soul in your graveyard, either add it to your hand or special summon a defense position. You only can activate one continue per turn.
I mean,
That's all it is.
Play Reborn. It's pretty solid. Like,
Yeah.
It's fine.
I mean, it costs you 500, but that's not, the whole game. It can matter over time, but does not necessarily, and especially with Borger, you will have a chance to output a little more edge damage to worry about time than the other guy will. So just cycle him back to hand or summon back in defense can save your beans. And it's very useful. But now we have another few spell traps, which are mostly themed after, I would guess, probably like mechanics or other special attacks. So first, just because I arranged them alphabetically, it's Vanquish Soul Calamity Kaiser.
Yeah, which is this is Kaiser's full screen fuck you, you're dead move.
Yeah,
That or is insta kill animation.
this is you're dead. I'm pretty sure he's throwing a spear made of lightning that resembles the spear from Rock of the Vanquisher.
Yeah,
You're gonna die.
that is. Yeah, look, we can probably pull up Walk of the Vanquisher real quick, but looking at it,
Yeah, I'll grab it
like,
again.
even like zoomed at Edapro, that's definitely the same spear. That's definitely the same spear design.
But yeah, so like, and again, this is like he's doing a huge fucking screen wide attack. If you are anywhere but probably like directly under him, you're fucking dead. It looks sick as hell. It is an anime as fuck attack. He's got like, his big aura. He's shooting the lightning. They've got like streaks of black light and speed lines in here. It's great. And also, yes, it's very much the same spear. You can see it.
Yeah.
Let me scooch him a little over.
So this is a counter trap, as we said.
Yeah.
When an opponent's spell or trap card or monster effect is activated, it's an Omni negate.
Yes.
That targets a card you control. While you control a Vanquish Soul monster, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Then, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of one Vanquish Soul monster you control. You can only activate one per turn.
So this is unfortunately a Omni with several conditions. Has to be targeting. You have to control the Vanquish
But
Soul.
also, it's an Omni negate that then burns your opponent for 3k.
Yes, presumably you are doing this while you control Caesar Valius, or it could be while you've got like a Hungry Borger out, which you've already done, 15, that's 25. Jiao Long makes it, 24. It is spicy. It's one of those things where like, yeah, it's easy for your opponent to play around because they just have to do something, non-targeting, or they have to, figure out some other kind of way to interrupt. But if your opponent doesn't know you have it, it is such a kick in the teeth because it's not only not only negate and destroy, but also just damage.
In the same vein of Mad Love adding this card is like here, if your opponent reads this card, they're gonna go, oh,
Yeah.
oh.
And it may end up changing the way that they, play because they may, even if you've got other shit, they may play around it. They may not realize what they got going on.
They may not want to take that Omni then 3k off the dome.
Yeah. And especially keep in mind, by the way, as we've already mentioned, your big boy Caesar, the Kaiser Valius is already possibly a tower, so he can make himself unaffected by activated effects as well. So, like, this gives you extra layers of protection. Very funny, very punchy. And the art is obviously just sick as hell.
Yeah, again, there are some counter trap cards that it doesn't fucking matter if your opponent knows you have it or not. Anybody who's played against Vanquish Soul, if they see you set a card, they're like, okay,
Yeah.
Play around.
Also, by the way, remember that's not target a Vanquish Soul monster you control. You just have to control a Vanquish Soul monster. It's target any card.
Yeah.
So this includes
Target
if your opponent is dumb enough to try and like MST or Cosmic Cyclone to fish out the back row, you can activate this in response. Like it's any targeting effect. If they try to like spot remove your Rock of the Vanquisher, you're just like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, it's one of those things with counter traps like this where like it has so many conditions. Some people can just misremember how it works and think, well, if I don't hit the Vanquish Soul card, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then they die.
Obviously, I think its primary weakness is it doesn't do anything if your opponent gets a board breaker, like if they drew Lightning Storm or Feather Duster.
Unfortunately,
but, you know, you're just gonna have to come up with other solutions to that. Our next spell, Yap. Obviously, Raisin is kind of our signature character. He's got a signature move. It's Vanquish Soul Dust Devil.
he's kicking you.
Yeah. He's doing that tornado kick. You can see his rocket boosters doing the thing, too. I love, by the way, this, like, grainy effect on these speed lines going up. Like, that's real good. Also, by the way, shout out to this boy. That is a full split.
This guy, this guy is quite limber.
He has been practicing. And that has nothing to do with those jet boosters, man.
This is another quick play spell, too.
Yeah. This is a great one. So this is a quick play spell. Target a Vanquish Soul monster you control. Change its battle position. Change face-up monster your opponent controls to face-down defense position up to the number of Vanquish Soul monsters you control with different names. You can only activate one Dust Devil per turn. That's right.
Oh, that's...
Book of Moon.
That's the Book of Moon. That's Book of Eclipse.
Yeah.
The downside.
Minimum Book of Moon. If you control one Vanquish Soul that you can change its battle position, you can tuck one monster. If you have your entire board built, like if you've got multiple guys out, and we've discussed how easy it is if you have the right cards in hand to swarm a couple of guys out. Again, Rocket the Vanquisher, is an extra special anyway. You're looking at possibly booking, anywhere from 3 to possibly all 5 monsters your opponent's got, which is very mean. And even the fact that it's just an in-archetype Book of Moon, which is searchable by Dr. Madlove, that can shut down link combos. You can't use face-down monsters as link material. So you can instantly dog out of that. Obviously, it doesn't itself inherently stop link monsters, but I still think this card has a lot of validity because you can use it proactively to prevent your opponent from linking off. And also just... It's not just Book of Moon, it can be multiple levels of interruption, and not every card that comes out of the extra deck is a link monster.
I was hoping that Dust Devil might have some trivia, but no, it's just Raisin's in this card art.
Yeah. Yeah, so, that's... It's his move. We got another cool move. Because to let you just know how hyped Xiaolong was, he also immediately got his special move as a trap card. This is, Vanquish Soul Snow Devil. Now, this being called Snow Devil and, Raisins is Dust Devil, are they supposed to be connected in the lore, in the story? Who the fuck knows?
They're staking their devil souls.
Yeah.
Something. Also, to give you an idea of how fucking long Xiaolong's spear is, it is behind him and also in your face.
Yeah, he's really extending it out there to get that extra reach for the swirlies. But he's swirling around the kind of blue flames that look like snowflakes, so he's doing a big tornado. This is a normal trap that says reveal up to 1 each dark, earth, and fire monster in your hand. Apply a flying effect based on the number revealed. So these, by the way, are in sequence. So if you reveal 1 or more, inflict 400 damage, special summon a Vanquish Soul from your hand. If you reveal 2 or more, inflict 600 damage, so you're now at 1k damage. Also this turn, Vanquish Souls can't be destroyed by card effects. If you reveal all 3, inflict 800 damage, then destroy all monsters on the field. You only activate 1 Dust Devil per turn. This is another card that really brought this deck together, because, this gives you a real spicy interruption if you're going first. If you set Snow Devil, First of all, you can do, because they're all in sequence, you can do up to 1,800 damage. Again, pretty sizable amount. Admittedly, you have to have all 3 mats to get that far, but still, 1K is nothing to sneeze at. You can special summon Vanquish Souls. You can make your Vanquish Souls immune to destruction. By the way, this is on a trap effect, so you resolve them.
Yeah,
So
and,
if your opponent plays Lightning Storm and picks monsters, you can just be like, Snow Devil. No.
Not only that, if you reveal the 3, they can't be by card effects, and then you do a card effect that destroys all monsters on the field.
Yes, you do a one-sided board wipe.
Boom.
No, this is
you're
an
destroying me?
amazing card. Obviously, you do have to be careful. Rock of the Vanquisher is not a Vanquish Soul monster, so if you have that set up, he will be popped. But I think that's why you run multiple copies in extra, because Rock is not a archetype card. You can't like get it back with continue and shit, so you need to keep a couple of ways to be able to play multiples. But still, Dust Devil is just another like. It's a card that speeds up the rate of your grind game, and it can be very nasty. And even just, like, a reactive special summon of a guy and 400 damage is not terrible, you know? Usually you're probably going to want to hold, so you're only using it if you can do at least 2+, but still, it's a great piece of interaction.
Yeah, like, the worst case scenario, this is just a slap on the wrist, and I'm summoning Raisin. And adding Jowlong or something.
Yeah. All right. And then our final card, naturally, it's the biggest one. It's Vanquish Soul Trinity Burst.
This is our DHC.
Yeah.
Our delayed hyper combo, if you don't know what that stands for.
This is your, your special team-wide super attack. You can see you've got a trinity of Heavy Borger, Dr. Madlove, who also, by the way, now has a gun. Don't know where she got that.
Where'd you get it from? Don't worry about it.
And Raisin. Also, I think we can infer that some part of Heavy Borger... Oh, actually, I think it's the things on his thighs. I didn't realize those were missile launchers, because he's shooting missiles at you. Watch out. So yeah, no, this is clearly you're doing your big team-wide combo, your big hyper move. Everybody's having fun.
Gary just yelling, jump him.
Yeah. This is the kind of thing where your opponent pulls it off and you just go, oh no.
Oh.
Just like, because there's going to be a little bit of lead up. There's going to be some combat barks and some animation. You have enough time to realize you fucked up. So this is a normal trap that says, target 1 Vanquish Soul monster you control. Special summon up to 2 Vanquish Soul monsters from your hand with different names from each other, neither of which has the same original attribute as the targeted monster, but negate their effects and return to the hand during the end phase. Then you can return all cards your opponent controls return in the same columns as the targeted monster, and the monster's special summon by this effect. You can only activate Trinity Burst once per turn.
There's a lot of text on it. Basically, I'm wiping 3 columns off the board.
Yes. You target a Vanquish Soul you have. You summon 2 guys who don't share an attribute or a name onto the board. They are negated, so obviously you don't get some of your funny interactions. But you get to bounce 3 columns worth of shit.
Look, if you targeted Raisin or Xiaolong, you can get Heavy Borger and Kaiser Valius and just beat up your opponent. Take their
yeah,
worst
no,
one.
I mean they've got enough attack that you don't matter. You don't care about them.
You grab the squeegee and just go wipe half the board away. Just
no. And it's so funny that it is like it's such a big board clear, and it's a really good one. I think obviously part of the thing that holds this back is that it is a trap, so you have to set it up first.
It's a trap card that requires hyper-specific setup.
Yeah.
But you play the one because it's just funny.
Yeah, and obviously with Dr. Madlove, it's easily searchable. Also, again, this deck has really good consistency. You've got a lot of deck thinning. You know, you have multiple ways to search out guys or summon guys from deck with, like, Stake Your Soul. And obviously, Heavy Borger's one dark effect is just draw a new guy. You know, keep drawing cards. You can play, Extrav or the like in this deck. You don't give a shit about your extra deck, other than Rock. And so many other, funny draw tools. Again, you could probably play 3 Upstart in here. You don't care.
Yeah, your extra deck is gonna probably be 3 Rock. It's probably gonna be a Fire package, and then just anything else that can tangentially maybe search something out of your deck.
Yeah.
Like the King Dempsey. I'm sure there's a fucking excuse that adds a Beast Warrior or something. There has to be, like, you know, like.
Unfortunately, I think the one that did do that was MX Invoker, which is a 3. So that doesn't work, but there may be a 4 that adds a Beast Warrior. There's got to be some funny Fiend interaction with Dr. Madlove in 4s somewhere. Also, hey, by the way, we mentioned before, you're playing your one allowed copy of Rhoda to search Raisin because you really need to search Raisin. So, like, this deck shouldn't have any problem with consistency. You could play 1 or 2 Trinity Burst as a funny, and it's just like doing the hyper combo in a fighting game. It's not always going to happen. When it does happen, and when you pull it off, you're going to look really cool, and you're probably going to win because, again, it's 3 columns. So this is just everything in at least 6, probably 7 zones. Honestly, if you set it up right, you could do both EMZs as well, so it doesn't matter which side they're playing on, you know? You pick the columns. That's a lot of zones you can bounce back. And obviously, you know, for some cards that doesn't matter, like doesn't do anything against Pendulum Scales, for instance, they just can reset scales. You know, continuous spells doesn't matter. But that means they got to put traps back. You know, those guys are no longer alive if they've been set longer. Monsters all got to go back. Monsters from the extra deck got to go back to the extra deck. You know, so yeah, like, it can be spicy.
Like bouncing is a very shenanigan way to get rid of cards because like if you're destroying something, it goes to the graveyard, and there's usually destruction effects. The amount of effects that trigger just when they leave the field. They exist. Like they're not non-existent, but they are way less prevalent than if this card is destroyed.
Yeah. So no, it's all in all, it's pretty good. And like I said, everything keeps the mechanical flavor. This is a very well-designed archetype. It's got a lot of really cool things that are clearly done with affection for the genre and the medium. You know, with all these references in there. I think the only thing that probably stopped it from actually being like a consistent tier 1 deck is just like we said, you do not have a universal I win button. You have a couple of buttons that probably mean you win. If you can pull off Trinity Burst, you probably won the game. You know,
if you can Kaiser Valley your opponent for all their marbles,
yeah.
You're probably gonna win.
Yeah, you know, like you use Kaiser Calamity Kaiser, you know. If you pull off the 3-card Snow Devil, you know, well, you've blown up the board and done 1,800 damage. You're probably in a good, or blown up all monsters anyway. You're probably in a pretty good position. You have a lot of really good power plays, a lot of really flexible shit. Like we said, there's a few tricks you can play in this deck. It's really good with Universal Searchers. You can play Teak Boo for your, you know, one of Floodgate. You know, you can play a couple of Floodgate type hand traps.
The weakest link in this deck is obviously Pluton, as we've hammered it to death.
Yeah, he's unfortunately dead weight.
But he already has a replacement.
Yeah.
So it doesn't.
And I think the thing that this deck probably needs is not. I think Kaiser Valleys is a perfectly serviceable boss monster. He's a towers. He's a non-targeting destruction pop if you got him set up. He's got a decent stat line. What they probably need is more monsters like Jiaolong that either give you more funny targets for Stake Your Soul, and that like give you the ability to react to certain things differently. Like, you know, Jiaolong's effect to actually, like, you know, search a guy with 2 fires or use 1 fire to do one thing, you know, or be summoned when he's revealed. Like, you probably need some more moves for some more boys. Also, if you can swarm the board a little better, that can make you still let you access link plays.
Look, I figured out what we need for our next typing. I was looking for the weirdest combo of typing. I found it.
Oh yeah.
We need a dark fish monster. Do you want to know how many dark fish monsters there are?
2?
3?
There's 2.
There is 2.
One
Nice.
is Shark Fortress, the rank 5. The other is Earthbound Immortal Shakukwala.
Wow, that is. I was not thinking of those guys. I was just like, man, there can't be that many dark fish. Is there like a weird Terror King, Terror King Salmon adjacent guy who's dark? No, it's just one weird Xyz and.
How many total are there besides all the sharks?
Terror King adjacent because it's a 5 fish. So.
I guess it is, yeah, technically, but still, yeah, it's a weird shark guy, and then an Earthbound Immortal. Wild. But yeah, no, definitely got some room for some funny stuff. I think
you need an Earth Sea Serpent. because there's only one, and it's a card you've never heard of.
I mean, so Jiaolong is a worm, and Kaiser Valius is a dragon, so an Earth Sea Serpent could be funny.
Yeah, Subterra Behemoth Stigo Kraken.
Oh, Stygia Kraken, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're all Earths, which means that Subterrors have some very funny typings. But yeah, no, Stygia Kraken I don't think is very popular. But yeah, no, so like, the deck is good. You know, like I said, we said at the start, the deck's solid, it's fun.
Yeah.
It could still probably use some more features, and just in general, this is one of those decks that I'm just like, man, I just want to see more of these. I'd love to see what they could cook up, you know? Because it's fun.
It's definitely a suite of cards and designs, and like we said, like even though Pluton is the weakest in design and mechanics, but it's also like it almost feels outright intentional that it is, because it's a stance character, and stance characters in most fighting games are gimmicky weirdos, like fucking I've lost track of the bit of Vega. For people who don't fucking know, the bit I've been doing this whole stream is that your big three of Street Fighter, the villains of M. Bison, Vega, and Balrog, had their names swapped in English because M. Bison was originally Balrog because it was Mike Bison, as in Mike Tyson, you know, the famous boxer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's why people usually call Bison
Dictator, Boxer, and Claw.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it just makes it simpler.
Yeah.
He's a character.
But yeah, like Vega's one of those characters in fighting games where he's the original stance character, but it was kind of always fucking shit. No one actually really enjoyed playing him.
Yeah. So yeah, but like I think there's probably plenty of room for other, like, you know, funny character designs, references. Obviously, you know, there are loads and loads of franchises out there. You know, like, you know, you could easily come up with some kind of, you know, weird line for like a guy who's like got a sword. You know, you could come up with something for like to make more of an obvious Soul Calibur reference.
Yeah, because we definitely kind of we definitely poked through like the main tropes, but there are still plenty of other tropes to go through. Like one main trope that you see many a time in fighting games is the sumo man. I don't know why he's a trope, he just is. And it's just your flavor of E Honda, unfortunately. Like who else? Like you probably have your paramilitary gremlin.
Yeah.
Your we Plutons are weirdo, but like we can have like a weirdo character,
Yeah.
a Faust, a Mokujin or something.
Yes.
Like.
And obviously, you know, you've got other, you know, weird stuff. You could do like
actually, hang on. No, that's a great one. A copy character.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like it could literally just be it can copy attributes or some nonsense.
Something like that. I think there's also room for like a trapper type character, like, you know.
Yeah, a Nappa.
Yeah, littering the field
don't
with
know any
Traps. Hell, you know, you could do that as like,
Draco.
you know, reveal, set a trap from your hand or something like that. You know, there's a wide variety of you know, funny little guys out there. And so many more, you know, franchises to reference. You know, you could actually like try, and I know obviously we said that like Rock of Vanquisher's kind of treated like it's your archetype field spell, but you could actually include field spells as stages, you know, literally call them stages.
And set rotation would be an incredibly funny card to play in this deck because of that.
Yeah,
we are
Or
changing
if
the
you just
stage.
if you just want the one stage, just have the field spell be stage select.
That would be a very funny
also
way
be
to do
cool.
it, yeah.
Actually, like, okay, I'm just ramming off the cuff. A stage select that has an effect based on the monster you summon that turn or something.
Yeah, I was about to say it should if it's stage select, it should have some effect where you like either it has effects based on what you can reveal or like what you've got on the board, you know.
Yeah, it's
Almost
gonna-
like Clear World but better.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm making took the words right out of my mouth. I was gonna say, yeah, just reveal a type or attribute depending on what.
And
attribute
obviously,
you reveal.
again, with the way they've set
You
up
don't
the
need
spell
them
traps,
turn.
you can have spell traps do literally anything because they can just be like names of characters, moves, or, you know, like other weird mechanics, you know.
Oh, and as per usual, make sure they put in the hard once per turn clause because I kind of forgot. Naturia, Barkion, and Beast are not once per turn. Fuck those guys.
Oh, were you playing the Naturia solo mode recently, perhaps?
No, some asshole just pulled out both Naturias against me.
Oh, they were
recently.
probably practicing on the solo mode. Yeah, I played the Naturia solo mode. It's not great. I had problems clearing the Naturia solo mode. I had to try several times against just the normal Naturia mirror match because it's not a mirror match. The other guy has a better Naturia deck than they gave you. Like, they have, like, the guy who gets, like, really big based on the number of Naturia guys in your graveyard, or I think it's Dragonfly is the one that reduces your opponent's attack. I didn't have those guys. What the fuck,
Oh,
Konami?
okay. I had to
Yeah,
double check in trad games my my rant about it. It was Naturia and with the new Horus stuff. Just fucking locking me down, unable to do
Oh,
anything.
actually, you know what, Loth? That guy literally stole that from the solo mode. That's one of the loner decks. He must have copied the list.
It is something that is very bizarre to me in the solo modes, where they just give you they just give you non-functioning decks, and they give the opponent like not a insane deck, but just a one that works. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I will say they let you play Horus Naturia, which was funny. You don't play the Naturia part of that deck. That's just summon up a shitload of giant assholes off the Horus engine. But, like, it was funny. But, yeah, I was not a huge fan of the Naturia solo mode because it was a lot of playing Naturia. And, hey, your opponent has a better Naturia deck than you do. And as Loth pointed out, Barkion, Beast are not once per turn. You can keep getting negated.
But yeah, no. If an Naturia deck pops Barker and Beast on the field, they kind of won.
Yeah. I literally, because I did the thing. I was like, surely Barkion is once per turn. I like activated like a trap card,
dude.
and then it
Yeah.
activated Barkion, and I was
Omega.
like, Imperm, got you. And they were like, haha, I have exactly 4 cards in my graveyard. And I was like, well,
I do not want to sound elitist of sorts, but you did not play Yu-Gi-Oh when Naturia, Beast, and Barkion were the best cards.
no,
in the
I
game.
did not actually. That
no,
was definitely in the
no.
part where I was not in the game. Did we in Prague? Did we do anything about Naturia cards, or did we just not
during
get
that
them?
time, but I was getting clowned on by people who told me that they could totally activate Scrap Iron Scarecrow on every attack declaration.
The old playground.
But yeah,
This was a fucking dueling book.
I mean, like honestly, even into the Pandera, Beast and Bark, like Barkon fell out of favor, but even early Pandera, like when I started like Secret Forces style, Beast was still like a fucking brick shit house.
Yeah,
when he
Beast's
hit the board,
got
you're like,
Beast's funnier too because it's
damn.
just like with Barkion. I think Barkion's not as popular these days because you got to have cards in grave. So like that's a finite resource you might run out of. Beast is just pitch one from the top of your deck. It's great. You have some deck left, right? Like that, I feel like that's a resource you're never gonna run out of. You're never gonna do so many Beast activations you mill your entire deck. And if you do, you're probably playing like Naturia Sylvans, and you want to anyway.
yeah, like it was soul crushing having seen Beast drop in any board honestly in any Yu-Gi-Oh game in the early 2010s.
No.
Like even going into like early to mid Pend era, if Beast hits the board, you're like, oh,
Yes, I'll
well,
die.
I've got to deal with this immediately.
Yeah.
Like there's
But yeah, so
there's no two ways about it. Beast
before
is
we
a
get on out of
force
here,
champion.
we will be continuing our deck build pack saga with the one that comes after Wild Survivors. I misspelled that terribly. I'm
Next.
typing in the wiki. The next one is Valiant Smashers, which is
Oh.
Memento, Centurion, and Valmonica. I wouldn't mind talking about Memento. I actually played that pre-built deck during one of
Yeah.
Master Duel's events, so I've actually got a little bit of experience with it.
You know why I want to talk about Mementos? I get to talk about fucking Darkblade again.
Yeah, Memento is definitely. I would say Memento is probably the best one to talk about in terms of actual like competence.
Yeah.
No offense to Valmonica or Centurion, they just don't really do much.
Yeah, Centurion is all right. Centurion was really good at being a King Calamity turboer. Now that even in Master Duel, despite the fact that Centurion is not out in Master Duel, I think King Calamity is either outright banned or soon to be banned everywhere.
Also,
if you
there
want
aren't
to do
even
some
that
more
many-
sense, you play Centurion
Actually,
with the
hang
new
on.
what was it, White Forest stuff? The Bellstar prequels.
I mean, when they finally announce it, I will play Centurion and Master Duel. I don't think I'll be doing that until July, apparently, for some ungodly reason. Seriously, like, the entire Memento package is out, and I think they just added Valmonica. They didn't do Centurion. I don't know why.
Is King Calamity still in Master Duel, or they just banned it, right?
Yeah, it's. I'm not sure the list's gone into effect yet, but it's been announced that the next list will be banning King Calamity.
I feel like they're waiting. I feel like Centurion did not get released just because there was probably deliberation on if they wanted to ban King Calamity yet. I assume, and Centurion being King Calamity deck, they were like, maybe we should wait on that.
Yeah,
Maybe we should wait.
It's funny that banning King Calamity as I look over at all the fucking nonsense that they keep giving me for the anniversary, like, guaranteed super royal rares, and that's just one of the assholes sitting in my list. I'm like, oh, thanks.
Yeah, and you can't decraft
I
this guy.
I want to say one thing before we go.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the Wikipedia page for Centurion. It literally just fucking has a section for the playing styles that is just about how to summon King Calamity in this deck.
I mean, it's sad because I really like Centurion's aesthetics, but it's correct that, like, that was the thing. Everybody realized that was the best thing to do, because even though they have their own, like, big guy, King Calamity is way better.
I'm going to post this in trad games, not Build Portrayal, so everyone else can see it, but this is just part of the Wikipedia page for Centurion.
And then, unfortunately, it
is a full 13-step combo to how to King Calamity.
I think after they've gotten their little, like, post support, Valmonica is, like, okay, but is not. Once again, Konami is really trying to do unique Pendulum decks, but is too scared of Pendulum to actually make a good deck, and they're kind of just doing stuff.
Valmonica, people were incredibly interested about the concept. It didn't even really flop. It just didn't do anything, you know? Like, it didn't, like, fall flat on its face and, like, fail miserably. It still works.
And I think they were improved by the extra support they got, as most decks are. It's just, obviously, it is such a blip in our current metagame, you know? So it's an odd one. But yeah, we'll be talking about that. I'll also run up another Fail Portrayal monthly poll shortly.
Yeah, like, November 2013 was, like, what, still peak tier format, right? Or the end of it?
Yeah.
So, like, no one was paying attention to Valmont.
Like, yeah.
I guess this is where we call it.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah,
I'm gonna chuck my hard cider into the trash can. It's just been sitting on my desk.
Good, it deserves it.
Yeah, you weren't here for that law. We'll after the stream, because we already talked about it on the stream.
Also, I'm double checking what TCG Player had to say about December's best decks. Well, they do shout out Valiant Smashers. That was the dawn of Fire King Snake Eyes, because the Fire King deck just came out.
Not Fire King Snake Eyes, or not Tier Element. Fire King Snake Eyes.
Yeah, Fire King Snake Eye format, and also you could. That was before, like, the hit to Rescue Ace, so you could play Rescue Ace Snake Eye, or I guess technically it was Sinful Spoil, because, like, the full Snake Eye part of the package wasn't out yet, but y'all know what I mean.
It was Ash and Diabell Star that was and Sinful Spoils that was, like, still an insane like 3-piece engine.
And obviously, like, Lab was at full power at this point.
Yeah.
No hits. Horus shit just came out, so you could play, like, wasn't peak Kashtira format, but I am looking at TCG Player in the year December 2023, early December, a placed list in YCS Bologna, which was Horus Tier Elements.
Oh my god.
This was why they shot Agido, because this deck is running 3 Imseti, 1 Hoppy, 1 Fenrir, 3 Tier Elements Kashtira, 1 Sheeran, 3 Rhino Heart, 1 each of Kelbeck, Mudora, Agido, and Keldo, all of which are legal. 1 Night Sword Serpent, by the way. 1 Havnus, 2 King of the Swamp, 1 Merly, and they're running, like, 2 Sark, 3 Scream, shit like that.
God, I feel pain just hearing.
Yeah, here. Can I think I got a direct list of the deck list.
I hate a lot of the Was it Visa Starfrost archetype decks? Like, fun idea. I hate them.
They're so frustrating to play against.
Look,
I
I
still,
like-
if I see somebody like, not all the way, but if I see somebody start like Kashtira comboing in Master Duel, I still just scoop them up. I'm just like, nah, man, I don't want to deal with that. If you
I'm not
activate
sitting here-
Birth, if you like summon Unicorn, search Birth, activate Birth, search like Fenrir or Ogre, I'm like, no, I'm not here for this, man. I got other shit to
Look,
do.
Kashtira Unicorn is the best Speedroid card. You can't deny it.
I think it's funny
Okay,
how
well,
like
anyway,
I like them as bits, but I do not like them as a cohesive deck.
Oh, I fully
I'll-
understand that because like it's funny how Kashtira, like it definitely is meant to work together, but it really is just a hodgepodge of fuckos that create a critical mass of assholes.
Yeah, but
I'll
we're gonna get
say
out of here.
you-
You've got Birth, Raidsoth, and
Yeah.
even Shangri-La and Arise Heart, but yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because they're a level 7 deck, so they need an inherent way to get their asses out on the field, and it just makes them generic. It's funny. But we're gonna wrap up. Like I said, we'll run up the Fail Betrayal poll for patrons soon. We'll be back next week probably for Memento because that will be the most lighthearted one. And actually, there is some stuff to discuss there, though. I do think that in a pure form, the deck does have a couple of weaknesses from how I've played it. Some people really like Memento. I'm kind of in the middle because I'm like, it's all right, but like I feel like there's some extra spice I need in the deck list, and maybe we can figure that out by looking at deck lists. Because like I said, Memento's I'm pretty sure it's if it's not tiered, it's a rogue deck right now.
It's competitive.
Yeah, it does stuff, and people have fun playing it. So we'll talk about that. So make sure to stay tuned and keep your eyes peeled for more Final Fantasy 14 streams, because boy, there's a lot of patch content before Dawn Trail.
There really is.
Anyway,
I still need
good night,
I still need
everybody.
to catch up with the post.
Yeah, you only got a few weeks. All right, goodbye, chat. Good night.
Actually, I need to.